Okay, cool. Okay, so stream is getting started now. Or it says I'm live. Okay. We're just doing a quick little refresh here on the live stream dashboard. Make sure that I am indeed streaming live. Okay, cool. Do I have a pop-out chat somewhere? Oh, sick, I do. Okay. Okay, guys. Normally, I like to stream the beginning of leagues, or at least that's something I want to try to do, and I've done it in the past to not much success, and hopefully that changes. But in any case, I had a lot of people concerned about the viability of some of my league starters that I decided to feature in the video that I put out yesterday. So I figured, why not roll this stream into something a little more exciting? One, we'll go over the patch notes, which if you're here and you watch me talk about patch notes, that's funny, but I really appreciate it either way. And then I'll go and I'll take a look at the league starters. And from what I understand, Arc and Blade Vortex escaped nerfs, so we're in a good spot already. Let's take a look here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Betrayal League is a fresh economy. All of your characters are still present. Solo, self-found, hardcore, and standard. All available. Same core mechanics. In case you guys didn't know, all the new stuff involving the Masters is immediately going to be on standard, so that's exciting for people who give a shit about standard. Betrayal League will investigate the Immortal Syndicate, whose sinister operations have begun to appear across Oriath and Rayclast. Help the newest Master, Juna Toy, as she investigates the disappearance. More lore stuff, you know, we'll enjoy that maybe at some later point. Track your progress on the investigation board and force the syndicate members you defeat to bargain with you, betray their allies, or face interrogation or be executed. Yeah. Again, we remember this from the trailer, so none of this is particularly new. Battle your way through safe houses and learn who leads the syndicate. Gain valuable rewards on who you defeat in each safe house, and that includes powerful veiled items. Exciting stuff, so we'll be able to craft new stuff with the veiled items, I believe. At least that's what I got out of the trailers. The new challenge leagues include 40 new challenges. When you complete 12 challenges, 24 and 36, you get the sick items. That'll be fun. I think I'm going to try to go for at least 24 this league. I've never been sweaty enough to go for 36, so I probably won't. Okay. Major new content and features. There's a new roster of masters. Alva, Nico, and Einhar have returned and brought their respective league features with them. They, along with Sana, cool. Okay, so we knew that. That's coming back. Means all three leagues everybody loves is going to return, even Bestiary. Overhauled the hideout system. Hideouts in favor of decorations are now shared account-wide. I was never big on the hideout stuff, but I mean, it's cool that we can share it around, which means I'm going to be able to have a nice hideout without having to put in any effort on my own part, which is exciting. Overhauled master crafting. You can have a single crafting bench in your hideout that covers all item types and crafting mods. You now gain crafting mods from a variety of different sources, including the exploration and helping of new masters. You can also overwrite previously crafted mods at the cost of no scouring. Very exciting. I think that last bit there is potentially underrated by some newer players. It was quite a pain to have to remove master crafted mods if you didn't bother to put in the time to get your rotations in. So that's really cool. Added a new strength and dex skill gems, Shattering Steel. Swing an axe or sword, releasing projectiles in a sequence. The projectiles shatter when colliding with an enemy or after traveling a short distance, with the shattered pieces dealing damage in front of the impact location. So this just seems to me like a generic clearing type melee skill. I think it has the new impale mechanic. We'll get to that soon, but I'm a little bit less interested in this one compared to the next one, which is Lancing Steel. Thrust an axe or sword forward, releasing a primary projectile that impales enemies it hits. Additional projectiles appear nearby as smaller metal shards that fly forward for a short delay. So I don't actually know if this is good, but I was watching some of the videos, and as far as aesthetics go, that's like the most interesting melee skill being added. So I'm going to check that one as soon as the patch goes live to know whether or not it's worth starting with. Added a new intelligence skill gem, Winter Orb. Channel and conjure an orb above you which pelts nearby enemies with projectiles that explode when they hit the ground. Channel for longer to build up stages. Orb loses stages over its duration after you stop channeling. I didn't think about this, but I guess I'm reading this now and I'm seeing that it probably has a duration tag. So skill effect duration could be really cool for like comfortable clearing on this. Maybe I could do like a fun trickster thing with this build, which I never really thought about until now. I don't know. I will eventually play Winter Orb. I think everybody and their mother is super excited for Winter Orb. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Dylan. Glad you liked the video and the builds and all that stuff. We're going to start looking and see what got nerfed thanks to Mr. Wilson soon, so I'll let you know what to keep an eye out for. Okay, added new Intelligence Skill Gem, Stormbrand. Sorry, Intelligence Skill Gem, Stormbrand. Create a magical brand that can attach to nearby enemies, a nearby enemy, until it dies or expires. It periodically activates when attached, firing beams which damage nearby enemies and the enemies around them. Wow, okay, so it's not even just nearby, it like chains almost, but they're not using the word chain, so it probably doesn't have the chain tag. This is like the least exciting brand for me, but obviously we'll find out. Wow, thanks, Lauren Worm. Didn't know I was awesome. Added a new what? You might be causing my stream to lag. Added a new strength/intelligence skill gem, Armageddon brand. Create a magical brand that can attach to nearby enemies until it dies or expires. It periodically activates when attached, causing a meteor to fall from the sky. Visually, I think this is the coolest one. I've seen a couple of Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. The turn off the ad block. I know people talk about that, but it's not something I've ever heard anybody say to me, so thank you. Yeah, this one aesthetically, I think it was Ziggy D did like the little overview of it. Maybe it was just like a trailer that Bex put out, but this was really cool. I really like the idea of the meteors falling from the sky. I know we have the lab enchant, the glove enchant right now, I think it is. I'm not sure what word it is, but it's a word of, I don't know, Inferno or something. That one always looks cool, but obviously you can't build around glove enchants. So this could potentially be super dope. I'll definitely look into this one very early. Okay, brand recall. Detach your brands from enemies and return them to you, activating their effect. Your brands will have increased branding range until they next brand an enemy. Okay, so this is like, I'm guessing if you've, your brands have done their thing and then they end up on the ground because there's no more enemies, you can recall them to you, and then you get increased range, which means you'll be able to run and drop the brand onto another enemy without having to get too close. So this is just like a quality of life thing. I think they actually had some news about this skill gem, but I don't remember exactly. So it's fun for me to read. That's cool. Okay, new strength skill gem. Dread Banner. Cast reserve mana and carry a banner, which lets nearby allies inflict impale with attacks, lessens the accuracy of nearby enemies. Gain stages by impaling enemies while carrying the banner. Casting the skill again places the banner, ending mana reservation. Once placed, it becomes more powerful for each stage gained while carried. I remember reading about this when Bex did the little highlight on banners, and I think this is the more defensive of the two because it lessens the accuracy of nearby enemies. Maybe. Is it? Huh. I thought there was something about a fortify buff. Maybe I missed that. Huh, there was definitely something about a fortify buff. Yeah, no problem, man. That was a fun video to make, and I'm going to be checking out how these patch notes impact those builds at the end of this reading here. But yeah, thank you. Oh, I guess, I don't know if anybody donates anything, but I need to make sure I catch that, so I'm just going to leave this open here. You don't have to donate anything. I just don't want to like ignore it because then I look like an asshole. Okay, so this is, I think, the more defensive one because it lessens the accuracy of nearby enemies. I don't know how good Impale is, though. Impale makes it, maybe it's just the more balanced of the two banners. Added a new strength gem, War Banner. Cast reserve mana and carry a banner, which increases the accuracy of nearby allies and the physical damage taken by nearby enemies. Gain stages by killing enemies while carrying the banner. Casting the skill again places the banner, ending the mana reservation. Once placed, it becomes more powerful with each stage gained while carried. I'm not really sure why they're wording it as nearby allies rather than you and nearby allies. It makes me think that it doesn't affect nearby allies or affect you, which would be really shitty, but I'm guessing that's just a wording mistake because in the video Bex put out, it definitely looked like a solo player was using it with no problems. Catch my breath. Okay, added a new strength intelligence support gem, multiple totem support. Supported skills have +2 to maximum of summoned totems. When you summon a totem skill, you summon 2 totems instead of 1. Supported skills deal less damage. For anybody wondering if this is OP, there's like a cool spreadsheet that Neversink wrote up, and we're gonna just pull that up really quick here. And he just did the math really quick, showing why it was actually like very, very reasonably balanced. So yeah, this is let's see, Neversink. I think maybe Neversink Dev or something. We'll do top of the last week here. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna link this for you guys in case you want to look at the math on it. But yeah, basically this new support gem is not OP for totems. In fact, it can actually be a DPS loss depending on how many totems you're currently using, but it does increase consistency and sort of ease of use, like comfort of play. So I really like this support here. And it's also, I feel like I've never played a War Chief build, but I obviously have used them to support a million melee skills before. And I feel like it could be very good for War Chiefs because usually you don't have as many totems as other totem builds with the War Chief builds. So yeah, that seems cool to me. Added a new Dex Int support gem, Bone Chill support. Supported skills have increased effect of chill on enemies. Enemies in chilling areas from supported skills take increased cold damage over time. Oh, whoopsie daisy. And have damage taken increased by chill effect. Jesus, that is a lot of words. Those are like a lot of keywords with like the capitals. Enemies chilled by supported skills take increased cold damage over time and have damage taken increased by chill effect. Okay, that was like very difficult to digest, but I'm guessing you just, anytime you're doing like a damage over time cold build, this is going to be like a go-to thing because it'll make them be more chilled and it'll make them take more cold damage. I think that's pretty much it. Okay, added new skill, Focus. By itself, Focus does nothing, but new veiled item modifiers available in Betrayal League have powerful and build-enabling interactions with it. The Focus skill is enabled when you equip any item with a mod that interacts with Focus but is not supportable. I personally love this kind of thing. I mean, I love how Vol skills are designed, how you get to something that's like kind of important and then you just pop your Vol skill and go ham, and this kind of feels like that as well. And also, it seems like, depending on what kind of veiled modifiers are relevant here, it might be like better for doing things like lab, because you know your Vol skills, you don't really use those when you're killing a Zara, which sucks. So, I don't know. I just get really irritated, when I go to a new area in lab and then I run out of fucking souls and then I can't like just blow Zaro up. So Focus sounds like kind of a fun way to maybe kill him faster. Not like I'm a big lab farmer, but I just think it's cool. Added the advanced skill gem tutorial. By clicking the new button in the skill gem, quest rewards act throughout Act 1. You can see a preview of how that skill will act with a variety of different support gems. Awesome, because I've had to explain this to my friends so many times and they never quite fully understand how awesome it is. Added Atlas objectives, which are guaranteed master missions indicated on the Atlas of Worlds. Whenever you complete a map, there's a chance for a new objective to appear. Or if you already have an objective of that type move, objectives can appear on any non-unique map, but will favor completed maps or maps adjacent to completed maps. They also refresh every day like daily missions used to. One thing that's cool about this is is that it actually favors maps that are done or adjacent to completed maps. So, or maps that are completed or adjacent to completed maps. So that's like really cool for people who don't progress quickly, like yours truly. Although maybe I'll be progressing a lot quickly this league, considering how hyped I am for it. But yeah, that's really cool. So you don't have to worry about getting 100% Atlas completion just so you always get your master missions in good places. 13 unique items, 1 new Faded Unique Prophecy, 5 div cards, 13 boy. If they don't do anything about lab enchants this patch, I'll be very surprised. Yeah, there's no way. Like, especially if you play hardcore, which I personally don't, but I know a lot of people do. I think it was like 11 people finished all 40 challenges in hardcore this last league, to give you an idea of just how insane it is to actually complete all the challenges they throw at you. So I mean, getting 100% Atlas completion is reasonable, but doing all the challenges, or even 36 of 40, is ridiculous. Okay, minor new content. Added a new rogue exile. Added physics interactions to many skills, including Abyssal Cry, Blade Flurry, physics interactions. So that's just like visual stuff, right? That's like what you Enduring Cry and body. I'm like don't even 100% know. Maybe that like means you cast Wither and the models react differently. Interesting. Yeah, hardcore's rough, man. Some people only play it that way, so I don't want to knock it, but yeah, personally, I don't play hardcore because I'm a pussy. The Lightning Mirage Nemesis mod is now noticeable sounds when triggered. Cool. Is that? Oh, if that's the one where it's like the little guys, the little lightning guys running you, that one is like up there with volatiles in terms of shit that just one shots you if you're not paying attention. So that's a really nice thing that they play a little sound now. Improved performance in DX9 clients. Added new dialogue for Sin to say in the epilogue. Okay, maybe a little lore here. A lot of people have been speculating that we're eventually going to be getting an expansion that focuses on Sin, and I think he was like going north, or Innocence is going north or something. So this could potentially be hints on a new expansion at some point. Masters now have different exclamation mark color. It's orange. Well, that's big. Hideout decorations have been categorized. Whatever hideout map device has several art variations. You can now move and rotate your hideout waypoint. Everybody wanted this ever. Even I don't even give a shit about hideout customization, and this is like nice. So you can like sort of optimize where you have to walk between your map device or whatever. Cosmetic aura effects. I kind of care. I don't really own any cosmetic aura effects. Maybe I'll buy some. Added a Seek Prophecy button to the Prophecy panel that shows up whenever the Seal Prophecy. Oh, cool. That's nice. That'll make prophecies a little bit easier to use. Added the incrementally improved sound effects and environments. Stepping up damage you're taking it might work. yeah. I mean, people have been asking for better like death recaps and stuff forever, and they haven't given in. So maybe that's a 4.0 thing if you're gonna expect it anytime. Okay. Master changes. Haku, Elrond, are no longer Forsaken Masters. In fact, they've disappeared entirely, and we're worried about them. Me too. Einhart Frey is now a master. You first meet him in Act 2. He will help you capture beasts, which can be used to craft items in the blood altar at his menagerie. I feel like they're going to like stick him in the forest somewhere, you know, when you're like running, it's like the Western Forest or whatever. You have to run through like 3 or 2 tile sets that are just covered in trees. That'd be cool if you put them in there. Kind of like a little bestiary theme. Nico the Mad is now master. You meet him in Act 4. Yeah, you'll definitely probably meet him when you're headed to Kaum's Dream and Duresso's Dream. That's where I would imagine walking through the mines. Help mine Voltaxic Sulfite, when you find on your journey, and you can be used to light your way through the Azurite mine. Alva Valai is now a master. You can meet her in Act 7, so probably the Vol Temple. That's kind of funny because that's like the worst tile set in the entire leveling experience for most people. So you get excited and you see Alva, so maybe you don't actually hate yourself as much having to walk through that place. It's the Vault Temple. That's the place where you kill Arakali. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. Masters, including Zana, no longer have reputation levels. Features such as crafting bench options are, as a result, no longer unlocked by grinding master missions and are instead unlocked by encountering specific locations, situations, or completing specific objectives. I mean, we already knew this, but like, holy shit, thank God at the same time. Hideouts are also no longer unlocked or improved through master grinding. Instead, Helena will help you unlock new hideouts through the campaign and very rarely within the Atlas. Newly obtained hideouts are automatically at their maximum size and hold all masters without being upgraded. Fantastic quality of life. Why is Helena helping us? Interesting. Interesting choice of character. Zana's map device options in the items she sells are now unlocked based on your progress through the Shaper Elder quest line. She can now occasionally sell higher tier maps as well as sextants. That's really cool. I've never gotten to Zana 8, but I've gotten to Zana 7, a couple times before. And it's always irritating to like try and like finishing up your whatever, like tier 15 progression, and she's just still trying to sell you like tier 9 garbage. Like, it's not helpful for anybody. And sextants are cool because, in case you're wondering, they've teased a couple of items, or one item specifically, that directly interacts with sextants, which is going to maybe force you to actually use those and not just sell them. I love using sextants personally, but a lot of people just sell them because it's easier. Completing master missions still earns you favor. Masters are now favor levels with a cap at level 7. These levels can only unlock hideout decorations in our account wide. Because favor decorations and hideouts are purely cosmetic. Cool, yeah, I mean, you grind for it, but what does it get you? Just hats. Favor costs for hideout decorations have been rebalanced. I'm so glad I don't care about cosmetics. Means I don't have to be, like, the only thing that's, like, seems really grindy about this league right now is account-wide cosmetic stuff for your hideout, which I really don't care about. Added a new debuff in Pale. Okay, hold on. We're going to drink some water. This is actually the first important patch note we've read all day, so we got to pay attention here. Added a new debuff, Impale. When a hit applies Impale, a portion of that hit's physical damage is recorded before sources of damage mitigation are applied. The next 5 hits against the target apply that recorded damage as reflected physical damage. You can have multiple Impales on the target. Okay. This is interesting to me for 2 reasons. First of all, the fact that it's a flat next 5 hits means that you can just stack attack speed, right? There's no there's no hard cap on how effective Impale can be. If you hit really fast, you can get a lot of Impale procs going on, right? That's what I'm reading here. Yeah, it does sound kind of like true damage, pure damage, Dota League, whatever you want to call it. But the weird thing is physical damage already kind of was Path of Exile's true damage in a sense, because, bosses don't have physical mitigation built in. That being said, a reasonably common map mob to run into is enemies have like 40% physical damage mitigation. So I guess this is kind of cool for those specific scenarios. Or maybe there'll be some new bosses that mitigate physical damage. As far as I'm concerned, this just seems like a way to make physical damage do more damage, which, it needed, let's be honest. Energy shield recharge is no longer interrupted by non-damage changes to your life or energy shield, such as when you spend energy shield on skills via Eldritch Battery. I've never spec'd into this keystone, so I actually never really understood how beneficial it could be to things like trap and mine builds. But I suspect I will at some point this league now. That's pretty exciting. This change here is really quality of life for Eldritch Battery. I'll probably actually use it at some point. You can no longer use skills that require a specific weapon if you are dual wielding. Okay, this is the stat stick nerf. For anybody who's like hanging out here and they're concerned about stuff involving my league starters, which we'll get to at the end of this impacts literally 1 so far. This is the Jack of all trades champion, because that one heavily built. That one was heavily built up. Let me get you this passionates, bud. That whole build was heavily built around the stat stick idea, because what you would do is, your offhand would just have like crazy shaper stat mods, like gain physical, whatever percent of physical is elemental, which is just a big more damage multiplier in your offhand, and then your main hand would be. Lauren, can you get that, please?
I just grab it.
You answer the phone first, and then you grab it. Lauren's bringing me Chinese food.
Hello?
Yeah, and then your main hand is going to be a really fast crit-based weapon.
Okay,
so
I will be right down.
Yeah, that's what that works here. And unfortunately, stat sticks are nerfed, but that's okay. We're just going to have to build champion differently, and we'll get around to figuring that out in a little bit. It's still going to be like probably the best melee ascendancy in all likelihood. It's just not going to be absolutely busted. As a result of this change, Ground Slam, Vol Ground Slam, Shield Charge, Leap Slam, Double Strike, Vol Double Strike, Reckoning. Oh boy, not Reckoning. Oh no. Okay. Are no longer main hand only. Yeah, this is like kind of a little complicated here. I'm not going to read it. All you really need to know is that you can't really do melee stat sticks anymore. You can still do spell stat sticks, but that's an argument for another time. Added new stats: non-ailment chaos damage over time multiplier and cold damage over time multiplier. These affect their respective damage over time types multiplicatively. So these are just new. Are these like new more damage multipliers, I guess? I don't know. I'm not big on math, but I do love my Essence Drain gameplay, so. Thank you. I'm not going to eat until after this, so you can just leave it. Yeah, so I really like playing Essence Drain, and I really have been meaning to play Cold Snap. So as far as I'm concerned, these are just really nice stats here for those kind of builds. I love Essence Drain, by the way. That's like my favorite skill in the game, so this is really exciting for me. And Caustic Arrow, actually. That's really dope. The total amount of slow, the expiration of an effect on a character through a time slowing mechanism is now capped at 75% on all sources. In case you guys didn't know, there's a lot of nonsense you can do with like self-temporal chains cursing. Yeah, such as temporal chains. And I don't know the specifics of it because I've never played it, but it basically makes you immortal in a lot of cases. And they kind of got rid of that nonsense. It was borderline abusive. It's fine. This will not be missed. Updated the reminder text for ailments that include the 3 new ailments. The 3 new ailments. Wait, is impale an ailment? Wait, what? Did I miss that? Did they not talk about the ailments yet? Okay, I guess not. Okay, well, we'll get to the ailments, guys. I'm sure. Anytime now. Okay. Nothing else here. Updated how sources of additional maximum totems are Sorry, guys. Updated how sources of additional maximum totems are described. Sure. Improved various mod descriptions. Sure. I hope that doesn't confuse people who are already used to things, but if it does, fuck them. Like me. I'll get used to it. Okay, Arctic Breath reworks. I never played Arctic Breath ever, for obvious reasons, because I've only really been playing this game like off and on since Harbinger, which is 3.0, so obviously I've never spent time on this skill, but now I maybe will. No longer a ground projectile, is now capable of passing over gaps and cliffs. No longer leaves a trail of chilled ground in its wake. That's such a weird, like, literary wording almost, but yeah, that's what it means. Now leaves a chilling area on impact that deals cold damage over time for its duration. This area will move towards enemies. You can now target specific locations with this skill. The projectile will impact the location if it does not collide with something sooner. I want to pull up a video of this maybe. Let's see if I can find one. No, we're gonna go to Reddit, boys. Just in case you guys hadn't seen it, because I think the skill looks cool, if not like kind of bad. Probably not dead on arrival, but probably not 10 out of 10. Really? It's not even... Okay. We're going to search here. We're going to do last week. Harry, can you stop it? My cat thinks he can mess around behind the monitor. Silly guy.
No, he just wanted to get on his tower.
Oh, he wanted to get on his tower. It's different, guys. We're okay. Yeah, I want to show you guys what this skill looks like, because I think it's really cool, personally. So you kind of like drop it off here, and it like see it kind of like it seeks out new enemies. It looks really painfully slow from this video. I'm hoping there's some kind of like way we can impact the speed. Obviously, you can use multiple projectiles, which should not impact the dot damage, from what I remember reading. So yeah, this looks cool. It just looks a little slow. I'm hoping there's some ways to speed up that kind of gravitation of chilled ground. If not, I mean, it's fine. I'll just play Cold Snap because that's a option to go for the new cold damage multipliers. Oh, a little Sire of Shards action. I missed this. Nice. Cool. Yeah, so that's what the new Arctic Breath looks like, in case you guys hadn't seen it. Ice Spear no longer pierces at short range. Now fires a rapid sequence of spears which move 300% faster after arming. Now gains additional critical strike multiplier after it arms. Now pierces after it arms. Again, this is a pretty cool change here. Ice Spear was something that I never played. I don't know if it was ever viable, but I personally was not playing the game when it was, if it ever was. And in case you guys didn't know, like all the hype right now is around Frozen Orb, Castable Channeling Ice Spear. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that. Tectonic Slam. This is like sad for me, honestly. Charged Slam. Really not sure what Charged Slam is, but we're going to pretend that they wrote Tectonic Slam to avoid confusion. Charged Slam, Tectonic Slam, which typically consumes an endurance charge, now deals 60% more damage. Oh, okay, the charge version. I'm stupid. Okay, so when you would consume an endurance charge, it now deals 60% more damage rather than 18%. And now has a 35% chance to consume an endurance charge and create a charge slam, down from 100%. Another thing is the charged slam. They said they increased the base AoE on this skill as well to make it a little closer to the old version of charged tectonic slam. And then the charged slam got another increase on AoE. So this is, just straight up bad design in my opinion. I really hate these kind of random buffs where you just sort of cross your fingers and, hope that you're going to have a nice clearing experience. But 60% more damage. Oof. Yeah, I'm going to basically, I just want to check the AoEs. If the base AoE is good on this skill, I'll probably play it. I'll probably league start it with like a, chieftain or something. But if it's not good, I don't know. If it's bad AoE, which it probably will be, it'll be just unfun and not really playable. Vol haste, Vol impurity fired, Vol skull enemies are now instant with a very short cooldown. Nice. Okay, well if any of you guys ever played with Vol haste, which was a really common way to boost your DPS, really, and just a variety of points. Or even these Vol impurities, which I've used before if I don't have a lot of pen for whatever reason. The instant... Oh, and Vol Righteous Fire. That's actually the biggest out of any of them. The fact that they weren't instant could have been kind of irritating because you have to position to where you want to hit the boss, and then you kind of have to get yourself a cast point in, and then you start, throwing your traps or whatever, holding down your Blade Flurry button. That's not going to be an issue anymore because they're instant, which is great. Instant skills is like my favorite change I have ever had be made to this game since I started playing. Tempest Shield is now instant, now grants 3% chance to block spell damage. Low-key, who cares? At least it's instant. That's nice. Vortex is now instant with a 1.8 second cooldown. Can now detonate up to 5 Frostbolt projectiles at once. Gains increased cooldown recovery speed as the gem levels up. Deals 42 to 63 damage at level 1. Down. Okay. And 538 to 808 cold damage at level 20. Deals 161 base cold damage per second. Okay. Oh, wow. That's a big old dot. Wow, they really increased. They're really pushing the dot on Vortex. No longer has a 40% more damage when cast on Frostbolt. Now has a 20% less area effect when cast on Frostbolt. Wow. So I'm guessing these like weird like quality of life nerfs, these quality of life nerfs right here specifically, and this one to a lesser extent, are kind of to compensate for the new cold damage multipliers or cold damage over time multipliers. So I never played the whole cast on Frostbolt Vortex thing. I don't know. It's something that GGG tried to push, and I don't think anybody plays it right now. But the fact that it can go on 5 Frostbolts at once is kind of hype. I don't know how that feels. I don't know if you have to be really close to do it, or if you can throw the Frostbolt and then pop it and then watch the kids melt to your insane cold dot now. I don't know. I really don't know how this is going to feel. It's hard to tell. I'll have to, play it myself. But being able to detonate on 5 Frostbolts at once is awesome, because in case you didn't know, with the Frostbolt, whatever gems, Threshold gems, you get 5 Frostbolts base without any kind of support, or jewels, sorry. Without any support gems, as long as you're using the Threshold jewels, you get 5 Frostbolts. Okay, Ice Nova. Deals 19 to 28 cold damage at level 1. Some just buffs here. Cold damage at level 20. Up for Can now expand up to 2 Frostbolt projectiles at once. No longer deals 40% more cold damage when cast on Frostbolt. Now has 20% less area effect. Now has a smaller radius at Gem 1. Again, I've never played that combo, so it's hard for me to tell just how impactful this is. Ice Nova. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to say, but again, they're really pushing this whole cold damage over time archetype. So, hey, who knows? Maybe somebody will figure out something that's worthy to play. Cold Snap now deals this much over time instead of this much over time. Cool. I actually did want to play a Cold Snap dot Trickster at one point, and I just couldn't get it to do as much damage as I wanted it to. In Path of Building, that kind of put me off, which is bad, by the way. You shouldn't let Path of Building damage completely dictate your builds, but, what can I say? I've done it before. Now uses a weapon attack time of Okay, plus 0.6 seconds rather than overriding your base attack time. While base weapon speed will still have some effect, this change is intended to reduce the travel speed difference between characters using weapons' local attacks modifiers and characters who are not. So yeah, this is a nice little explanation here, so I don't have to use my brain too much. So Whirling Blades is now going to be more consistent across all characters, no matter what kind of weapons they're using. Although it's kind of funny that they would do that here, because when they, from what I understand with the stat stick nerfs, you'll be unable to use this with a scepter in your offhand anyway. So, like, I mean, that kind of impacts a lot of people, or a lot of miners or trappers or whatever who have a dagger and a scepter or something like that. So it's not like this really is going to make a huge difference in terms of what people are actually using. But if you're using 2 daggers, you know, that this will probably feel better, I guess, if you haven't invested into attack speed at all. Same thing for leap spam. Okay. Same dealio. I'm like team phase run these days anyway. I use phase run on so many different characters. Oh no! Molten Strike nerfs. Okay, now deals 120% of base damage at gem level 1 and 161. Wait, what? Oh no. These are actually buffs, which is scary, which means they're going to nerf it somewhere else in the patch notes. Okay, and 161% of base damage. Okay, so you get more base damage on it. Okay. Projectiles now deal 40% less damage at level 1 and 30% less damage. Oof. Okay, so I think that's a large oof. So, okay. Wait, no it's not. Projectiles now deal 40% and 30% less damage. That's a buff, isn't it? Is that just a buff? Can somebody clarify? They just increased the numbers on Molten Strike, just like the base damage numbers on the projectiles, as well as... What? That is so weird. Okay, so calling it now, we're going to see some more Molten Strike nerfs coming down here, because these are just straight up just numbers buffs right here. Weird. Okay. Okay, Phase Run now grants 50% reduced visibility enemies. I was just talking about how much I love Phase Run. Okay, well, Phase Run still feels good to use, but you don't quite just ignore all enemies. 80% chance to not be noticed was really strong. I really liked it on summoners, especially, because it just felt like they would never know you existed. Minions summoned by this skill now deal more physical damage based on gem level rather than more damage. Okay. Does that mean like hatred scales? You can scale better with hatred, or is it just... I don't know. I actually, when I used Herald of Minion Purity, aka Dawnblue Guardian, I just did like brutality and just forgot about it. So this makes no impact to the build that I've used before. I don't know. I can't see like how practically this would make a huge difference. Maybe it's just makes it better for scaling with hatred, which is the only thing I can read here. Herald of Agony. What? Now deals increased physical damage per virulence rather than increased damage. Okay, I don't understand this change either, because doesn't Herald of Agony convert anyway? Like 60% of its damage gets converted to chaos, I think. So interesting. So I guess I find it hard to practically understand what these changes mean. I'm sure somebody much smarter than me will write something on Reddit, and I'll be able to read that and tell you guys at some point. But from what I understand, these won't actually make a difference. The only thing I can possibly see, does this mean that using auras like hatred will scale the damage better? Or is that going to mean you have to use auras like hatred if you want to scale the damage better? Or is it going to mean literally nothing at all? Or is it preparation for some interesting veiled mods? That could actually be a possibility. I don't know. I don't see. If anybody smarter than me can read into this and understand why these changes are made, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, cast on critical strike support. Nice. Massive buffs to this gem. Took it from, I would say unplayable, but of course, you know, Mathil made a goddamn assassin that killed Uber Elder with it. So cast on critical strike is now a lot stronger than it was last week. Cast on melee kill support is a little stronger. I mean, cast on melee kill, I don't understand really if that's something anybody wants to play over Cast on Critical Strike support, because I don't know why you want to play something that just makes you unable to really boss at all, except for with maybe like Worm Blaster nonsense. So yeah, but this is still a buff. Just number wise, this is a buff to melee cast on melee kill support. Let's keep going here. Block chance reduction support. Big one, boys. Supported skills have 10% reduced enemy block chance at level 1, down from 20, and 20 reduced enemy block chance at 20, down from 29. If a supported skill is blocked, it inflicts overpowered, which reduces block chance by 5% for 4 seconds and can be applied a number of times. That's just PvP changes, right? This is not relevant to PvE players, aka 95% of the player base, right? Yeah, I don't think that's relevant. Okay, we're gonna move on here. Eldritch Battery now causes you to have 50% less energy shield recharge rate. We talked about that earlier. Again, I've never actually spec'd into Eldritch Battery, but I know that the changes that are being made are because of that right here, because it's overarching buffs. I think you'll be fine. No, yeah, trust me, in my build guide, you'll be totally fine. I actually already controlled F for Toxic Rain just to make sure. The Herald of Agony is actually not the biggest damage source by a long shot on that build. So, yeah, you're going to be totally fine. You can definitely start Toxic Rain. That being said, I think there's Quill Rain nerfs, which is like a really common leveling bow for Toxic Rain. And you can probably still get a fantastic like crafted bow, but I think just getting that super cheap like starting bow with the Quill Rain, that's definitely nerfed, unfortunately. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. It'll still be a good option, don't worry. The Herald of Agony changes are completely irrelevant. Yeah, I mean, they're looking fine. Right now, we just saw some Molten Strike buffs, which is kind of confusing to me. So we'll see why. I'm sure it's going to get like the Helmenchant nerfed or something. But yeah, Consecrated Path literally was not touched, I think. So yeah, both of those are going to be fine for sure. Okay, so yeah, Eldritch Battery, we talked about this. Because of the changes they made to how it works, they had to give it a little nerf to make it balanced. The Essence Surge cluster next to Eldritch Battery now grants a total of 30% increased energy shield recharge rate, down from 60%. Also grants 60 to maximum energy shield. That's crazy. That's a lot of like flat ES actually, for something from the passive tree. Faith and Steel near the Templar also grants 60% increased energy shield recharge rate. Mental Rapidity between Witch and Templar grants increased recharge rate. And Foresight north of the Scion also. I'm going to pull up Path of Building. I just want to check these out. Let's see. So those are... Okay. Not Essence Surge. Essence Surge is, I think, up here, right? Yeah. Okay, so this gives more flat ES but less recharge rate, so it's better if you're not going to Eldritch Battery, and it's still good if you're going to Eldritch Battery, so this is just a lot of flat ES. Where's the recharge rate? Faith and Steel. Faith and... Oh, this node. Yeah, this node's good, but it's usually a little out of the way. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of options. Don't worry. Definitely stay tuned, or at least check out the spreadsheet at some point, because I'm going to update everything at the end of this stream. Well, I'll do it on stream. Mental Rapidity. That's not Mental Rapidity. Okay, this guy? No. Wait. Mental Rapidity is... Oh, interesting. Okay, so this thing is going to give ES recharge, which makes sense. Because it's meant for casters, you know, it gives cast speed, but it's kind of meant for casters that are going Eldritch Battery, because you get that ES recharge, and then, you know, you're going to be casting off your ES. So I wonder if this is their kind of way of indirectly buffing self-casting a little bit. Who am I kidding? I don't give a shit about self-casting. I don't know. It just helps deal with mana problems a little bit by just going Eldritch Battery and scaling your ES instead. And then Foresight, I think I know which one that is. Yeah, it's this guy right here. This is going to give recharge rate as well, which is cool. I think you pretty much always pick that up on ES characters, so that's just It's just a buff to any kind of energy shield usage. Okay, added passive skill clusters for the new brand skills. This is exciting to me. I'm actually really hyped for brands. I don't know if they're going to be good or not, but I really think Armageddon brand looks cool. The explosive runes cluster between Templar and Witch increases with brand skills, brand attachment range, and allows you to cast an additional brand. Wow. Okay, so this sounds really, really good. But again, we'll have to see just how strong brands are for that to matter. But maybe if you could attach 2 brands to the same target, that's got to be... What are you doing, Sprout? Sorry, cat's being bad. Maybe this could be like a really nice DPS increase. It sounds like at least quality of life increase for clearing. So we'll have to find out. Yeah, brands look super dope, dude. I'm so excited. I usually start melee, but these brands are getting me hyped. The Runesmith cluster near the shadow... Runesmith. We're going to find out where that is really quick. Runesmith. The rune? Am I misspelling that? Oh, maybe it doesn't exist yet. Yeah, it doesn't exist yet. My bad. The Runesmith cluster near the shadow grants increased damage with brand skills, brand attachment range, brand activation frequency, causes your brands to deal increased damage to enemies they're attached to, and allows you to cast an additional... Wow, 3 brands. Okay. Wow. So you really... These... Okay, we'll see how they're balanced. That might be why, because I don't know if you guys saw the Lightning brand or Storm brand or whatever. They showed it clearing, and it looked a little lackluster. Like, it looked like a much shittier arc, which did not get nerfed, by the way. Arc starters are still good to go. So, I wonder if they showed it with 1, because you're going to be, you know, having an insane amount of brands. They're just going ham. Added a new keystone adjacent to the ancestral bond keystone, so that's going to be like here or something, probably. I can't imagine it would be here, but yeah, it's probably going to be here. That would be weird if they put it there, because you'd have to take totems to get it, but who knows, maybe that's part of the downside. -1 to maximum number of summoned totems. You can now have an additional brand attached to an enemy, so that's up to 4 brands from the passive tree. Dude, this is cool. This is really cool. I like this idea. The reason why they're doing this, they've talked about the archetypes that they kind of designed around with brands, and they kind of were designing it around like a mana-based caster from the Hierophant, whatever, rather than like Witch or something. So I'm guessing they assume you would go here, here, and then here, here. Thank you, Mr. Brandino. Brands are super cool. You don't understand, dude. We've never had anything like that before. I don't know what you got over in Diablo, but brands sound really cool. Brandon. So I was trying to make some pun off Brandon, whatever. Okay. So this is the here. Okay, so this node, right here, these nodes, the ancestral bond, these are going to give brand damage too. So you're actually not hurting yourself by going up here to grab what the new keystone is going to be, because you can just grab these and they're going to give you brand damage, and then you'll get your extra brand. And the reason why it's -1 totem is because if you were playing this ascendancy here, you usually have good access to additional totems, and they want to make sure if you're going the keystone that wants you to emphasize brand damage, that you're not trying to get some totems in there too, because that sounds too strong, I guess. So yeah, that's a lot of brands. Next up, we got the Shaman's Dominion cluster near the Witch. Now also offers increased critical strike chance with brand skills, increased damage with brand skills, and additional critical strike multiplier with brand skills. I think that's like, that was like the one that gives you like totem placement speed, right? Yeah, it's this guy right here, totem placement speed. Okay. Yeah, it's dope. Oops, we're not making a tree right now. Yeah, so this is your like, I want to go crit brands, although it sounds like it's probably going to make more sense to go like Ellie Overload, but we'll see. You know, this is cool. I don't know if they're going to change this, but you get 25% increased area of effects for free with our boy Hierophant. So I don't know what kind of AoE these brands have, but that could be really nice quality of life, potentially. That could be really cool. Okay, so next up, guys, let's take a look at... Oh, yeah, modified several cold and damage clusters to better support the damage over time skills. The Corruption Wheel north of the Witch now also grants a total of 11% to non-ailment chaos damage over time multiplier. They could have come up with a better name for that. That is rough. Non-ailment chaos damage over time multiplier. It's like non-ailment specifically because they wouldn't dare buff poison. They just could not, dude. They have to just make it not for poison at all because poison's so overpowered. Kappa. Corruption notable now grants 10% increased. Okay, just 10%. Okay, so in case you guys don't know, in fact, I don't even know if I remember where it is. It writes up your corruption. Yeah. This little wheel here, it's kind of nice because, you know, sometimes you play occultist when you're doing like essence drain builds. So you come up, you do like one of these numbers, you go around here, and then eventually make your way. And then sometimes you get the extra curse. And when you do, you can take this for more essence drain damage. And now it sounds like it's going to have a thick more damage multiplier for your, I keep on saying essence drain because I'm obsessed with it, but for your chaos damage skills that are not poisons. Does path ability take a lot of research? No, it's fine. I mean, from what I can tell, I mean, obviously I'm a little biased, or not biased, I guess. I don't have the best comparison here because I'm using a pretty reasonable computer. But I mean, all it is just sort of like visual stuff and a little bit of math in the background. I don't know, really, there's no way it's like very CPU intensive, and it's definitely not GPU intensive. Yeah, check it out. It's good for planning builds, whether you're an Xbox, PC, or eventually PS4 player. It's really fun too. So yeah, this is a really nice, this is going to be a nice little more damage multiplier. I'm like really feeling the essence drain occultist right now, guys. That's big tempting. I bet they replaced this node right here. Okay, atrophy between Shadow and Witch. Okay, let's see if I'm smart here. Is it here? Ah, shit, I tried. No, atrophy. Okay. Oh, this was oh no, this was the shitty one. This one's good. Force Shaper's pretty good, but Atrophy is not that good. Atrophy, and the through preceding nodes now grant up to total of 19% of non-ailment chaos damage over time. Atrophy now grants 20% increased, and the through preceding passives now grant 20% increased chaos damage. Okay. So again, more thick chaos damage over time things. Yeah, feel free to check it out. Feel free to ask questions. I'm here live. I'll be here for at least another hour or so, probably. I just got to finish reading these patch notes. Yeah. So I guess this is a nice more damage over time multiplier for your... God, I need to work on saying that. What is that going to be? Non-ailment chaos damage over time multiplier. What a mouthful. So yeah, that's going to be big damage. I think that's a little more out of the way compared to this, but I mean, if you're going CI, which is of course very common for occultists, it would not be that crazy to grab. Maybe a little out of the way for low life, but still I think more than viable. Speaking of low life, my big wish list for Mastercrafts, which I'm sure they won't do this, but it would be such a cool veiled modifier to give us chaos damage does not bypass energy shield, because I hate using shavs. I have no desire to use shavs. Makes me not want to play low life. Yeah, Caustic Arrow. That's the big one. Those are the two big ones for me because I love playing Caustic Arrow and I love playing Essence Drain. Those are like two favorite chaos skills, even over Toxic Rain and Scourge Arrow, which are also great skills. Yeah, so this is more damage multiplier over time for my boy Essence Drain and my other boy Caustic Arrow. Okay, Growth and Decay, which is this guy right here. Much closer to Shadow, little out of the way for the Witch. Now grants 8% to both cold and cold and... they need to come up with a better name for that. I'm so bad at that. Cold damage over time multiplier and non-ailment chaos damage over time multiplier. That's kind of cool and thematic. I can't imagine you would take that, though. I mean, unless you're playing some build that uses both for some reason. That's definitely kind of lackluster compared to the other stuff we've been reading. But they got to give us options. The Method to Madness cluster near the Shadow now provides a total of 14% to non-ailment chaos damage over time, 28% to chaos resistance. That is a huge chunk of chaos resist. You cannot get 28% on the tree like anywhere else, I'm pretty sure. 46% increased chaos damage. Wow. So I think that's this guy right here, isn't it? Cool. Oh, but I forgot. You would have to go this way. Okay, so you would be losing out on damage and wasting points if you actually filled in the entire tree. Damn, killing my dreams over here. Thought I was going to get a shit ton of free chaos res. Okay. Well, yeah, that's just another more multiplier. Again, that's starting to be quite out of the way for the Witch, I think. But definitely accessible for the Shadow. I don't know. This was always in such an awkward place. Hopefully they make some movements to the tree so you can grab this cluster for our chaos damage, non-ailment chaos damage over time builds. Okay, so path of building. If you just go to path of building here and then you go to releases, gotcha. Gotcha, man. Yeah, so again, it's a nice cluster, but it's in a weird place, so hopefully it gets moved. We'll keep going here. What's up, Lauren?
I'm watching Netflix. Let me know if your stream gets laggy.
I'm probably going to lag. I'm already dropping frames, actually, I think. 0.1%. Keep watching. I'll let you know if it's bad. Lauren's watching Netflix, guys, so let me know if we're big lagging out here. And I'll be sure to let her know that we gamers are going to rise up.
Big YouTube star over here. Follow, subscribe, like. You're welcome.
I'm not even going to say the name of Lauren's YouTube channel for that. Breath of Rime, North of the Witch, and the 2 preceding passives now grant a total of 20% to cold damage over time multiplier. I don't actually even know where that is off the top of my head. Breath of Rime. Unless those are new ones. Oh, it's up here. Oh, it's this one. Okay, cool. I mean, this was like the premier place to go for cold damage, I guess. So, you know, just as a more multiplier here instead of an increased multiplier, I guess. Best way to put it. Let's see here. Hey man, been off and on with the game. This time I'm actually giving it a good try. Would you recommend going for league? Start standard league? Don't play standard. Yeah, don't play standard. That's all I can say. We're like literally all the fun new stuff everybody's going to be talking about and sharing involving the new league. You just won't be a part of that. So it's, yeah, there's really no reason to play standard unless you're trying to test builds, I think. That's my logic. Or if you're some crazy min-maxer who never wants to restart and always wants to just like be just perfecting your mirror tier cyclone build or whatever. So yeah, just play the temp league with us, man. It'll be fun. We'll have a lot of fun. Fingers of Frost cluster near the shadow now provides 28% increased cold damage, down from 36%, plus 22% to cold damage over cold. What? That's huge. Cold damage over time multiplier. Am I understanding this correctly that this cold damage over time multiplier are basically more multipliers, but they get applied before the more multipliers happen? Because that means it's just like a huge multiplier, right? Vortex, yeah, for sure, dude. I've never played Vortex. I mean, obviously for good reason. But yeah, it could be spicy. 20% increased effective chill. 20% increased chill duration. Oh, it's weird they nerfed the chill duration because they're so confident in this bone chill support being game-changing. Increased freeze duration. 5% increased chance to freeze. 5% chance to freeze. 10% chance to freeze enemies which are chilled and causes enemies to become chilled as they unfreeze. Oh, that's kind of a fun. I love these kind of like flavor effects that aren't just like flat number bonuses that are at the end of a wheel. Those are always exciting. One more question before settling. How long do they usually last? They always last 3 months. And yeah, 3 months. And you can, if you know what you're doing, you can get done pretty much all the content you want to do usually in a few weeks. If you don't know what you're doing, it's really up to you how much you want to play. So yeah. 3 months. It's more than enough time to like see all the content in the league, really. Assuming you can play at least like a few hours a week, I'd say. So let's see where Fingers of Frost is, because that seems like a really nice cold damage over time. Oh, it's this garbage? Oh, I don't like this place. Ugh. Okay, well, this isn't that bad. I guess you go here for Ghost Reaver, obviously. And then, yeah, thanks for the sub, man. I appreciate it. And then obviously one other thing you do sometimes, we're gonna be a shadow for 2 seconds, is if I'm like going over here and I'm doing like traps or something, we go like here, we'd go here and grab this guy, probably go down here, grab this life. To get from this side of the tree to this side of the tree, you can obviously like just go here and grab life. But one thing I like to do, and it's pretty common I think, is you go here, you grab this little life node, you grab Doomcast, which is like the best spell crit wheel ever, and then you come down here. So if you're already in this area because you're doing a build that I don't know, that once Doomcast and you're a shadow, you will be passing right by Fingers of Frost. So again, it remains to be seen just how cool this new damage, cold damage over time multiplier stuff is. I think it's going to be very cool. Pun intended, whatever. I'm sorry. I'll see myself out. Yeah, this is going to be cool. I like this right here. It's kind of weird for Witch to get to unless you're playing Essence Reaver, but it's definitely manageable for Shadow if you're doing the Doomcast route. Oh, and then also this is going to be the new chaos damage multiplier, so that's also kind of weird here. But I mean, obviously, if you're going damage over time, you're not going crit. I don't know. I'm going to stop making pronouncements about the passive tree. It's a little early. No idea about Winter Orb yet. We're going to have to see the 2020 skill gems that come out tomorrow. But it looks promising. Like, mechanically, it looks very comfortable to play. And I think because of that, unless the numbers are just garbage, it'll probably be a very okay league starter. So if it looks cool enough, I mean, or if the numbers are high enough, I might league start with it. I'm willing to give it a shot. I really like league starting with new stuff. Occultist, new notable. Oh boy. Okay, this is super exciting for me. 2 new notables. Oh shit, guys. Okay, Occultist, new notable. Withering Presence, 60% to chaos resistance. Wow. Okay. Plus 20% to non-ailment chaos damage overtime multiplier. Every second, inflict withered on enemies for 15 seconds. Oh. Wait, withered or hindered? Nearby hindered enemies deal 15% reduced damage. Tectonic Slam looks very uncomfortable to play right now. Oh, hold on. I'm going to get to that in a second, guys. This is really exciting. I'll be right back on those questions. I want to read this guy. Nearby hindered enemies deal 15% reduced damage over time. Okay, so it doesn't hinder, but obviously Blight hinders. That's like the big one. Wow, this looks so cool to me. I love this 60% to chaos resistance here. I don't know if it's going to be enough to make low life viable without using a Shavs. It might be if you get a little bit more chaos resistance and you somehow manage to reserve like exactly at 35% of your life, because that's the threshold for being low life. 20%, what is I'm still reading, is just a more multiplier to your chaos damage over time. Withered. I thought Withered was like a stacking debuff. Maybe I'm getting it confused with that other one. There's 2 like chaos damage. Oh, I'm silly. My bad, guys. Okay, that just means hindered, I think. Okay. It's hard. Okay, this seems really good. This seems really strong. This is also very defensive too, which really keeps in line with the occultist theme. Okay, let's answer some questions here. What channel would bind it to? Cyclone. Sorry, if you could remind me what I was talking about when you asked that question. I'll answer it, I promise. What do you think about Tectonic Slam? I think that as long as the base AoE is like really big, it might be still fun to clear with. Cyclone. What do you think? Yeah, so as long as the base AoE is good, it might be playable, and then as long as the upgraded AoE is like stupidly huge, it could still be fun. I find it hard to believe it's going to be better than something like Ground Slam or even Sunder. We'll find out. I'm not sure what you mean by channel binding the Winter Orb channel to Cyclone. You just channel it. You don't have to attach it to another ability. You could do like cast while channeling, so every time you start channeling, it starts casting whatever, frost bolts or ice spears. You could do that. I'm not sure how Cyclone plays into what you're talking about. I'm sorry. But yeah, you're probably just going to be able to play it just like as regular channeling. Let's go back to Occultist. God, I'm so excited. New notable. Cannot be chilled, cannot be frozen. This is great. This is so good. Because what's that ring people run? I forget. It's like it just gives some mana regen, but it makes it so you can't be chilled or frozen. And people run that on Occultist because they don't want to have to run an anti-freeze flask. So this frees up a flask spot. I don't know if that's like not like super OP or anything, but that's super cool. Okay, 20% to cold damage overtime multiplier. Every 3 seconds, 25% chance to freeze nearby chilled unique enemies for 0.6 seconds. That's cool. I'm assuming this still doesn't work on things like Shaper because they have the can't be fully frozen or whatever, so you shouldn't be able to. But that's still cool. I mean, if you run into something, some like crazy unique enemy that's giving you some trouble on a map and you just can freeze it, like passively, that's already a really nice just defensive quality of life buff. Freeze nearby chilled non-unique enemies for 0.6 seconds. Wait, oh, okay, so it's 25% chance to proc on uniques, but 100% chance to proc on normal enemies. Nearby chilled enemies deal 10% reduced damage with hits. This is so good. There's so many good things going on for Occultist right now. Wow. It's like almost like I want to like build like a life-based Occultist so I can grab all the like more aggressive nodes, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Added a small passive leading to Withering Presence that grants 8% increased energy and 5% to non-ailment damage. Okay, so let's see where Withering Presence is. I'm guessing that's going to be over here on the witch side. Okay, did I misspell that? Oh, is it called Withering Presence? Probably is, isn't it? Okay, well, whatever. It's not showing up. But it's probably on the witch side, I'm guessing. And then it's going to give some extra ES, so you could grab that if you want some chaos damage overtime multiplier. So much of that. There's like so much of these new chaos and cold damage overtime multipliers, which I'm still reading over here as, you know, just more damage multipliers. Above Frigid Wake. Wait. Why am I... Oh, it's this thing? Am I blind, guys? See Wake right here. Is Frigid Wake the new one, isn't it? Yeah, it's the new one. Okay. They're just like the little ones. Thank you. I was confused. I was looking on the tree already. I didn't realize they were part of the Ascendancy, so they're going to be part of the new Ascendancy nodes. Add a small passive going to Frigid Wake. Yeah, these are both right here. These are both just little extra ES. So yeah, there goes my idea of life-based Occultist, because you don't want to grab those nodes. You don't want to waste an 8% ES node, I think. Void Beacon now also causes nearby enemies to have 20% to cold resistance. Small passive leading there gives also 10% increased cold damage. Cool. So I don't see how I can grab Void Beacon ever, honestly. There's so much good stuff going on for Occultist. But if I did, it would now affect cold damage over time as well. So that's cool. Okay, let's move on here. The Champion, which is one of my favorite Ascendancies, in case you guys didn't guess from the video that I put out yesterday. Master of Metal, 20% chance to impale enemies on hit with attacks. Impales you inflict last 2 additional hits. If you've impaled an enemy recently, nearby... Oh no, why you gotta hit me with that, dude? That's a hard one. Nearby PoE. Let's see what we can figure out here. The definition of nearby is, which is pretty big in case you're wondering. Don't think it's affected by area of effect. Even if it is, I mean, nearby is still pretty big. For reference, nearby, that's like pretty much the size of your screen. Here, let's see here. Yeah, it's out to here. That's nearby. I guess you could still get off-screened or, you know, have an enemy on the edge of your screen, but that's still pretty big. New notable, Master of Metal, 20% chance to impale enemies on hit with attacks. So just free impale. Impales you inflict last 2 additional hits. If you've impaled an enemy recently, you and nearby allies have 1,000 armor. You and nearby allies deal 4 to 8 added physical damage per impale on the enemy. Wow. Okay, so again, you want a lot of attack speed here to make your impales really add up. And now the more attack speed you have, the more that you can have up to more of this added damage here. So what is it? It's a base 5 impales, so up to 7 now. So 4 to 8, which would be like, I don't know, 240 or something. No, that's not how math works. 7 impales. So that would be 4. Okay, so 4 times 7 is 28. And then 7 times 8 is 50. 56. I can do math normally, guys, when I'm not on stream. I'm sorry, it's making me a little nervous, I promise. Either way, if you can get a lot of attack speed, you'll get a lot of added physical damage. There's your math for you. And then you get a lot of extra armor as well, you and nearby allies. So if you get this plus the Fortify Ascendancy node, you know what I'm talking about, this one over here. See this guy right here, and then you have Fortify. And I guess you could just go balls to the wall and you could grab Iron Reflexes. That would be plus 3k armor, I'm guessing. That seems cool. That's a lot of armor. That's not quite Jug tier, but it's damn near getting there. Okay, so added a small passive leading to Master of Metal, which gives 50% increased armor and evasion rating and 8% increased impale effect. Nice, makes sense. Inspirational now also causes your banner skills to reserve no mana, recover 20% of planted banner stages when you cast a banner while you have a banner planted, and causes you and nearby allies to recover 0.5% of maximum life per banner stage when you plant a banner. Is there a maximum for banner stages? It also increases 50% increased effect of non-auras from your skill. Non-curse auras, sorry. Oof. Let's see if there's... Oh, come on. Okay, well, we don't have a number on maximum stages. But the fact that this number is so small and that this is on an Ascendancy notable makes me think it's going to scale pretty high. You're going to get a good amount of regen from this. Wow. I don't know how Insane Impale is going to feel. I think it's going to feel real good. But there might be some competition for some of the other Ascendancy nodes around here. I know Mathel and Dawn the Crown. I think Dawn the Crown takes this. I know some people like this one here, so you can get like a lot of burst DPS in. Nobody takes this, which is nice. It's getting buffed. People always take these two. People always take this. So this is going to become a little bit less competitive. People will probably consider the banners or the impales, and this also will be less competitive. Interesting. Yeah, Champion got a little bit more diverse. Thank God this node got buffed or changed, because this was by far the most boring Ascendancy node in the game, in my opinion. Cool. I guess, again, it's kind of hard for me to visualize how good Impale is, but it's definitely something to look into here. Also, I'm guessing with the attacks that Impale, like, innately, this might just not be the smartest thing to take, necessarily. I don't know if it's considered a... You mean like an ailment? Impale? Here, I'll just copy and paste it into chat, and then you can try to make what you want from it. Because I read it, but obviously it's hard for me to... oh, I can't even post my own chat? Come on, dude. There we go. Yeah, it's a debuff. It's not an ailment. Oh, nice. I can't post all of it. Thank you. We'll just read it really quick. When it applies, added a new debuff, Impale. When a hit applies Impale, a portion of that hit's physical damage is recorded before sources of damage mitigation are applied. The next 5 hits to that target apply that recorded damage as reflected physical damage. You can have multiple Impales on a target. Basically, from what I understand, if you can get a lot of attack speed, you'll be able to apply kind of a true physical damage, which is funny because physical damage is already one of the less mitigated damage types in the game, because, you know, bosses don't have inherent physical mitigation. So Impale's kind of like some extra damage for pure fizz, basically. Kind of, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Sounds like a better bleed, except for obviously, you know, when you're bleed, you have to move to take more bleed damage unless you're using Crimson Dance. But yeah, it's more options for characters that focus on physical damage, from what I understand. Okay, we're gonna move on here. It's so hard to tell how good these are. I think Inspirational is gonna be super cool for like casual party play. Like if you're just playing with your friends, you know, and they're not like super up to date on the speed meta. This is going to be like a really fun thing because you'll be able to go up to a boss. Maybe you guys aren't super comfortable. You've never killed like Kitava before, and you're like, okay, we're going to plop down this banner and we're going to go hard, and we're going to still, you know, wipe to the fire breath attack, but that's okay because we had a lot of fun doing it. Yeah, this could be cool. This could be really cool for casual play with friends that maybe aren't as experienced with speed clear or leveling. I know, trust me, I'm probably not going to play any of my suggested starter builds because I want to try something brand new. So I don't really care if I get screwed by bad skills. I think it's more fun to do new stuff. Okay, Hierophant, new notable, sign of purpose. You can now cast an additional brand. Are we up to 5 brands now? Wow. No wonder the freaking videos that showcase brands looked so bad. It was only 1 brand. Failed to mention you would have 5 brands going at the same time. Enemies take 10% increased damage for each of your brands attached to them. What? Am I reading this right? Enemies will take 50% increased damage if you have all your brands on them? Brand recall has 30% increased cooldown recovery speed, 14% increased brand attachment range. What the fuck? This has to be crazy, right? Okay, the base damage on these brand skills are going to have to be like stupidly bad, I'm guessing. Or brands are going to be broken. Because that is a huge multiplier right here. What would you even go if you were doing this on a Hierophant? So if you're a Hierophant, that means you're a Templar, and then I said Templar, and then you're a Hierophant. So you could go like, you would take that brand thing. We'll pretend this is the brand one. And then I think you would do this because this is spell damage leech and a little AoE here. Probably get the free mind over matter. You would not take totems because you would be getting the new keystone that's going to be here that makes you have 1 less totem. Yeah, and then you would grab you could maybe grab this or whatever if you, for some reason, were having mana problems. Or you could grab this. I don't really think this is the most fantastic node. Immune to ailments is nice, but it's only a level 1 arcane surge. And I think most of the time, most people are going to be using higher arcane surges with a shaper staff or something, you know? Hierophant needed a better shock. Do you mean just as far as skills they can use? Because arc totems are a thing, my friend, and they are hard. I guess they don't shock really because you usually go Ellie over. Well, you don't go Ellie Overload. You go Convocation of Power. I guess they're not known for shocking necessarily. I don't know if Hierophant needed buffs though. I mean, Templar's been getting a lot of love over here with Guardian last batch, and I guess we're getting Hierophant changes now. I don't know. You could do a lot of stuff here, but it seems these Ascendancy nodes are the non-totem ones, aside from Divine Guidance, I think, are kind of meh. So you definitely have room to go this new node here for brands. I'm probably going to start brands, guys. This is looking pretty spicy. Here, I want to pull up this here so I can see my face in case oh yeah, I'm starting to sink down. Okay. Oh no! Nerfs. Okay, item balance. Molten Strike, Labyrinth Helm enchantments now grant 1 additional projectile from Merciless Labyrinth and 2 additional projectiles from the Eternal Labyrinth. Anybody who thinks this is a significant nerf to the starter build I suggested is just wrong. It's really not. Most people who start with Molten Strike are never going to go so far to grab the enchantment unless they really want to keep scaling Molten Strike. And yeah, this was the most expensive Helm enchant by a large margin in Delve, and I think it was even the highest in Incursion. Maybe it was maybe Tornado Shot was more. But yeah, this is a nice nerf. And I'm okay with it, not only because this was too strong, but because they increased the base damage on Molten Strike. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. It's so negligible, and then they increased the base damage. I guess they really were worried about how hard they've nerfed melee skills, I guess, is the only reason why they would try to compensate with buffs to the base melee damage. But yeah, this is just the tiniest nerf ever. It's almost laughable. Maybe it'll just make the Helm enchants cheaper so people who League start with it, who are new players, can actually end up buying it, which would be really nice for them. Okay. Tectonic Slam, Labyrinth and Enchantments now grant increased chance to charge Slam. Oh boy, rather than granting a chance to not consume Endurance Charge at half the original enchantment's values. I don't care. I could look at this on the wiki, but honestly, I really dislike the new Tectonic Slam design, so whatever. Disabled the Ice Spear, Labyrinth, Helmet, enchants that increase the damage dealt by Ice Spear. Existing items with this enchantment will go unchanged, but the enchantment cannot appear on any more items. Okay, I guess maybe they're concerned they really buffed the hell out of Ice Spear. Disabled the Vortex, Labyrinth, Helmet chance. Same kind of thing. Oh, that increased the base radius of Vortex. Okay. Scary AoE Vortex. Items exclusive to the Shaper's Guardians and Elder Guardians now drop less frequently. Uniques exclusive to the Elder Guardians now drop based on map tier, with some items unable to drop until higher tier maps. Okay. They talked about buffing the items they drop anyway, so if they have like crazy base damage buffs, I'm looking for like a 700 PDPS Brain Rattler from Minotaur boys. If they have some crazy buffs, this is a totally reasonable change. I really like killing Guardians. It's one of the only endgame activities that I'm not horrible at. So this is cool. I mean, this gives you a reason to run it more than just your Alice completion, assuming those uniques are actually worth something. Shaper and Elder items and jewels can now gain mods that affect, their new little baby here. Non-ailment chaos damage over time multiplier and cold damage over time multiplier. Big damage. Ruby, Sapphire, and Topaz flasks no longer grant added maximum resistances. Instead, they each reduce the damage taken of their respective elements by 100%. Bye-bye, Immune Pathfinder. You were fun. I never played a Immune Pathfinder, but I was fully aware of how stupid they were. I don't know if you guys saw the build where they were, or not the build, but the video where some guy did Uber Elder, but he pulled up the map like at the beginning, and he just did Uber Elder with the map open the whole time. He didn't even watch it. He just killed Uber Elder with absolutely zero interaction at all because Immune Pathfinders, Immune, Xerfi, Poet Pen, Pathfinders. Actually, I don't know if it was a Xerfes or an Immune. Either way, it was definitely a Pathfinder abusing one of the two most broken mechanics in the game, which is like Xerfes Flask and Immunity. So Immunity is bye-bye because you're not going to get enough increased Flask effectiveness to make you take 100% reduced damage from an element. I don't think. The Shaper weapon mods, which cause you to gain a portion of physical damages. Oh no. Grant half as much extra damage. Okay. Amulets are unaffected by this change, and this does not affect existing items. Existing versions can be updated to these new values with a Divine Orb. Okay. This is a nerf. This is a nerf for, let's talk about it really quick. This is a nerf for Blade Vortex. This is a nerf for Glacial Cascade. Nothing else. But the thing is, this is not going to make or break the skill. These stat sticks were so unbelievably strong. If you had like a mirror tier stat stick, they like had like 3 of those mods on them and like a crit multi-mod. There were so many like bosses that just didn't exist for you, and so much interaction in the game that just didn't exist for you. These nerfs are like almost negligible. Like, yeah, it's objectively you're going to be doing less damage if you're using these stat sticks. But that's totally fine. Honestly, you still have great options. BV will still be a great league starter. Glacial Cascades will still be a great league starter. You're just not going to be quite as broken. Any Molten Strike, Consecrated Path, Jug build? I would search for Engineering Eternities, Nebulok Jug build. Oh, starter build. You know, off the top of my head, I don't want to link anything that I'm not 100% sure is great. But let's see here. Let's see if I can find something for you, man. Because I'm sure there's like something, like some kind of build that's like pretty popular that I can just link you right now. That won't like Consecrated Path. Okay. So let's see over here. A simple giant 1 million budget version included. So let's look at this build really quick. Look at this. This guy's put in some work here. Yeah. Yeah. Current build and budget build. Let's see here. Oh, he's got a nice little thing here. Let's see if he's got some pictures of the items. Those always look nice. Yikes. Okay. A little bit expensive here. Yeah, you're not going to have that one. Well, this will at least get you thinking. Maybe a little bit more expensive than you'd like, but you can at least follow the tree. Sorry, I don't want to, like, spend forever looking at that because I want to get through these patch notes and eat my food because I'm very hungry. But thanks for hanging out in the stream. Yeah, so this is nerfed. Don't use Divine Orbs. I know you guys won't do this anyway, but don't go using Divine Orbs on your old stat sticks. You're just nerfing yourself in standard for no reason. The Dying Anguish Divination card can no longer drop. What? Why? Why? Okay. Wait, taste... Okay. Weird. Dying Anguish. Wait, that wasn't Taste of Hate. Which one was this? Oh, Lyle 19 Skill Gem? Okay, weird. Was it just any skill gem? Okay, that's one of the weirder changes I've seen. It will return in the future with some modifications. Okay, that's a weird patch note. Okay, these are hype. I'm not the biggest genius when it comes to knowing all unique items, so you guys are going to have to bear with me. I'm probably going to look up a couple of these just to make sure I get them right. Aegis Aura now has a 300-400% increased armor energy shield. Existing versions can be updated these new values with the Divine Orb. This is just a straight buff. In case you didn't know, this is the item that gives you ES when you block, based, I think, on a percentage of your armor. So this is just a numerical buff. New versions of Oxium no longer have the 10% to 20% increased elemental damage with attack skills. They now have 25%, up to 25% damage, elemental damage with attack skills per power charge. Okay, Chill and Freeze is now based on 100% of energy shield. Oh, is this the... I think this is the item. This isn't the item that drops from Toll, is it? No, this is a belt. Okay. Yeah, I've never used this belt before, but of course they would buff something that involves cold damage and freezing. Okay, yeah, this is another numerical buff to an item I've never used. Crown of Eyes now causes you to leech from all types of attack damage, not just physical attack damage. This affects all versions of the item. Crown of Eyes. I obviously know about this item, but I missed its heyday back when people actually used it, so I've never used it myself. Okay, yeah, this is nice. Well, this is just a good quality of life buff here for the item. Let's see. Yeah, leech from all attack damage. Cool. So you don't have to worry about having a lot of elemental attack damage when you're using all your Crown of Eyes. You know, all you Crown of Eyes players out there. I'm sure there's tons of you. Literally dozens. Cloak of Defiance now has, okay, just increased evasion energy shield. Existing versions can be updated. Cool. Little Cloak of Defiance buff. I still would rather use like a shaped Fall Regalia, but that's good. Mjolnir's trigger now has a cooldown of 150 milliseconds rather than 250 milliseconds. That's a really nice buff. I'm not one of those like insane Mjolnir players. There's a lot of them though, or at least a couple, because I've seen so many posts on Reddit that are like, here are like 6 insane builds that work with Mjolnir now, or like, this is why Mjolnir really needs buffs. And it's like a freaking like novel on why Mjolnir is just, you know, needs buffs basically. So yeah, that's cool. I'm really happy for the people that are really into playing Mjolnir builds because they exist. Trust me. Hiri's Ire now adds a lot more. Wow, that is a lot more cold damage to attacks and bows. It no longer adds cold damage to all attacks. Okay. Oof. Wow, that is a hella huge numerical buff. And I'm pretty sure if you're using Hiri's Ires, I think most of the time you would be using a bow. So, wait, is Hiri's Ire the... Is that the chess piece? That's a chess piece, isn't it? Oh, okay, my bad. I thought this was the Hiri's X. Maybe my Max Dodge Raider will pick this up at some point. My Max Dodge White Wind Raider. It's going to have 3,000 health and die in one shot. And it's going to be really fun. Okay. Carcass Jacks now grants a lot of increased area of effect. Existing versions can be updated. Dude, that's actually so cool. I remember I used this item last when I did a GC miner build in Bestiary. And yeah, and equipping the Carcass Jack, you really felt that AoE increase. So this is an even bigger AoE increase. This is cool. I love Carcass Jack. It's one of my favorite chess pieces that I don't use very often. New versions of Bring It Aim now support socketed skills with level 18 blind and faster attacks. This is a buff to my stupid Lacerate Gladiator build that so many people watched. Nice. This change also affects very, very old versions of Bringer of Rain, for which these were the original support values. Okay. Cool. So that's just a straight buff, isn't it? It wasn't like level 12 before or something. Bringer of Rain, PoE. Yeah, it was level 12. Cool. And level 6 blind. I don't know how blind scales again. Increased blinding duration. Yeah, I mean, it's whatever, but nice. Just a straight up buff to one of my favorite items in the game. I love Bringer of Rain. It's such a budget way to do like any melee build. Doriani's Fist now adds less lightning damage, damn, to unarmed attacks, and okay, it adds less damage to unarmed attacks, but more damage to spells while unarmed. The Doriani's touch skill granted by Doriani's Fist can now hit up to 50 enemies per skill used, up from 20. Has 20% more area effect. Now costs 8 mana, 728. Can no longer be evaded. Wow. And now has 50% less attack speed, down from 30%. 300%. And now converts all physical damage to lightning, up from 50%. Wow. I've never played a Doriani's Fist build. And it's kind of hard for me to visualize how big 20% more area effect is. But these mana cost changes on the Moan and cannot be evaded is so hype. Is this like a top tier leveling item for melee builds? Probably not. But wow, is it cool. Again, I've never played this, but makes me want to. Lioneye's Vision now has a dex requirement of 160 in addition to the ordinary strength requirement. I forget what Lioneye's thing is. I mean, obviously it's the bow. And by a bow, I mean chest. Tricked you. Oh. Weird. Forgotten ass chess piece for me. This does not affect. Oh, it just has a dex requirement now? Okay. Is that it? That's what we're missing here? Wow. Okay, weird nerf, but okay. Duresso's Defiance now grants Onslaught from 5 per endurance charge when hit, and 60 to 90 up to... Oh, that's a lot of life. Existing versions can be updated these new values with a Divine Orb. New versions also grant 60 to 100% Onslaught effect. That's a lot of movement speed. But don't you have to get hit, though? Duresso's Defiance. There's a lot of movement speed and attackment speed when you proc it. Okay, what does it say? You lose all endurance charges when hit. You gain an endurance charge on kill. You gain onslaught per endurance charge. Wait, you gain onslaught per endurance charge when hit. Okay, well, I guess if you get hit while wearing this, you'll go big fast. You'll be running around real quickly, so that's cool. Probably still won't use this. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really love the idea of building around dodge and evasion and then having something that only triggers when you do actually get hit. I mean, I guess it's kind of a defensive layer in a way. Malachi's Artifice no longer has reduced elemental equilibrium effect. This affects all versions of the item. Nice. Good stuff. Isn't that that gives a bunch of added damage, doesn't it? Malachi's. And is it the helm? Come on, get it right, Nathan. Ah, it's the ring. Rest in peace. Nice. I'm too stupid to realize what the initial design decision was behind this weapon. But, I mean, it's a straight number buff to an item that nobody uses right now, so who am I to say that that was a mistake? Deodri skin no longer reduces the effect of your curses. Curse socket and Deodri skin now have 25% reduced Effect of curses. Okay, so your curses that you're not using the Deodri's skin for, they don't reduce the you can still use that full effectiveness. The summon Deodri's effigy skill is now instant and has a 0.5-second cooldown. Nice. I love instant skills. You can have it with 3 effigies at once. This is such a meme thing. Does this even give like good stats? Deodri's skin. I misspelled Deodri. Wait, Tarky made that item? No way. Did he like have a buy the whatever the supporter thing? That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean I guess it gives 400 ES. Yeah, I don't know. I still don't think this is gonna be fantastic by any means. It's still good quality of life stuff. I really do like that you don't have to worry about your own curses having their effectiveness reduced. It's just whatever you have socketed, and you do your little effigy meme build. I'm sure somebody will make a video of them killing Uber Elder with it and say it's a great build, and I'll feel it's significant. Extractor Mentis now has a 10% chance. Ah, it was Ziggy who made it? Ah, nice. For some reason that makes it funnier. I don't know why. Yeah, that item seems bad to me. I guess I don't really understand what Ziggy was going for with it, but he also has a much better understanding of the game than I do. And it's nice to see that it got a numerical buff at least. Let's check out Extractor Mentis, because, again, not an item I played. 5% chance to grant Unholy Might. Oh, this thing. Well, this is also kind of a meme trash item, isn't it? Okay, cool. I mean, sometimes I see items, and I think they're bad, but I'm like always afraid I'm going to be missing some kind of cool behind the scenes interaction. Yeah, no, it's probably a bad item then. Okay, so this thing also seems bad to me. Doesn't even have life on it. I guess it has a lot of strength, so that's something. But whatever, I've definitely never used it. Okay, higher chance to get Unholy Might. Oh, okay. And it's just getting the free elemental equilibrium as the main draw, I guess. 10% up from 5%. I don't know. I mean, I guess Unholy Might is pretty strong, but yeah, I can't see a lot of people using that. I'm pretty sure there's like Abyss Jewel mods that give you have a chance to give you Unholy Might on kill, and if you really wanted your Unholy Might on kill, I think you would just get it there instead. Let's make sure I'm not talking out of my ass, though. Yeah, you could also flask, too. That's like probably an even better version with Sin's Rebirth. Yeah, okay. Actually, it'd probably be better to go to PoE FX, but let's keep it moving here because I have dinner to eat, guys, and I still have to update our little spreadsheet. Okay. Shade of Solaris now grants 200% up from 120% increased spell damage if you dealt a critical strike in the past 8 seconds, rather than recently. Existing versions can be updated to the values. I am actually more familiar with this item, but let's pull it up here. Gain 20% elemental damage as extra chaos damage. Critical strikes deal no damage. I don't know. This still seems like you would use a stat stick instead, even with the since I always end up sticking a Sin's Rebirth in like most of my builds and then never end up buying one because they're just a little bit out of my range for a flask, the way I play usually. Yeah, so again, I mean, this is a nice buff here, obviously. Ellie Overload players. Maybe I could use this as like a little, what do I get this at 30? I could use this maybe as like a leveling weapon or something for my sick new brand Ellie Overload Hierophant builds that will inevitably happen. So yeah, it's just a nice quality of life buff. I actually already talked about Aurora Aegis, which is nice, obviously, but I don't think you're getting most of your armor from this, right? I guess they were already pretty high, weren't they? I'm familiar with the only reason why I didn't look it up is because I'm more intimately familiar with this item than most of the other stuff. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's pretty insane. That's going to be a lot of armor. Obviously a lot of ES too. And then of course, you know, the effect scales off the armor as well. So that's pretty cool. I've never played an Aegis Aurora build, but I've played a number of max block builds, so I've always like considered doing Aegis Aurora build. So maybe my next one will be that. But also I don't think you would necessarily do this on a Gladiator because you don't have as easy of access to ES nodes. But and then also you can't really do max block as easily unless you're a Gladiator. So I guess it's a good buff and it really needs it considering the place block is in right now. Exciting stuff. Thanks for pointing that out to me. I didn't really, you know, visualize how much that percent increase was. That's pretty massive. Okay, the Brine Crown now has 300% up from 120% increased armor and energy shield. Man, they are really just pumping out these like raw defensive stat buffs. It now grants 80 to 100 up from 5 to 70 life. Brine Crown. That's not the Bestiary helmet, is it? Or am I getting that confused? Oh, it's this thing. Raffle. I don't think I've even had this item drop before. Wow, okay. I don't think I'll ever use this still. It's got a lot more life now, though. That's dope. I didn't finish reading the buffs. 1,500 armor while stationary. Existing versions of this item can be updated. Cool. This is good stuff. Stacks with the Soul of Tukohama and, you know, my face tank jug builds. That's going to be a lot of armor. Very thick buffs. Light of Lunaris. Oof. I don't even know what that item is. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I know a lot of you probably have these uniques memorized, but I'm not about to make pronouncements on anything without looking them up here. Okay. Light of Lunaris now has a lot more increased ES and 6 to 10% up from 3 to 5% additional chance to block. Existing values of this item can be updated to these new values using a Divine Orb. Okay, new versions also grant added cold damage to spells. Okay, they really love their new cold damage archetype, don't they? Okay, so that's a lot of ES, right? So right now it's giving 62. And it's upped from 140. That is so much more ES. That's like 5 times as much ES. Yeah, cold spell meta actually. Loki. Damn. I want my Arctic Breath to work. I'll figure out a way to do that at some point for sure. 1% chance to critical strike multiplier per 1% chance to block attack damage. That is so much energy shield. Damn. 275 ES. Thanks for the math, my boy. Appreciate that. Yeah, a little bit more than 52 to 62. Kitava's Feast. Oh, hell yeah, dude. I love this item. Now has a 265 through 30 up from 250 to 300 increased physical damage. Just a little bit. That item already had like kind of meh PDPS, didn't it? Still wish the defensive stats on unique items scaled with player level, so kind of what makes like end game chasing a relevant thing or doing like cool rare crafts. So if they did that, it might be a little bit shitty for like giving people a reason to continue to scale their items. Like why would I, you know, make an upgrade? Yeah, and prophecies. That's again, but that's they like cherry pick, and prophecies can also be chase items. You know, especially in the case of things like Helm's Way or Series Reflection, they'll, you know, create a really rare prophecy, and then suddenly that becomes a chase unique because you have to pony up so much cash if you want to use them or get lucky on your prophecy. Yeah, so I mean, this isn't like a ton of damage, no like increased attack speed or anything. I don't know. I don't think anybody's gonna use this item other than Slayer, or not Slayer, just Flicker Strikers who are not Slayers. Sad. Fun item. Next one is odd. Oh boy, you spoil me like that. Arakaali's Fang now has a 100% chance to kill on kill to raise trigger raise spiders. I actually tried to plan a build with this, like some weird trickster thing around this item. Let's pull it up. I'm already seeing like 20% to 100% is a great change. Okay. So that's good. You're going to have a big old army of spiders. This affects all versions of the item. We'll say the same way. Trigger land. The raise strategy skill is triggered. Okay. Triggered by this item has also undergone the following changes. Adjusted visual and audio changes. Oh boy. Raise spiders now has a cooldown of 2 seconds and a 100% chance to trigger on skill. Kill. That's what that set up there. The race spiders now have 100% more movement speed, a longer attack range, a base duration of 30 seconds, deal 33% more damage, and always apply a poison on hit. They can no longer leap. I've never played with this item, so I didn't even know they could leap, but I wanted to play with it. Maybe I will now. Raid spiders are now level 75 instead of the level of the area you're in, and are immune to damage. Cool. For each raised spider, you gain 2% increased attack speed and 12% increased damage with poison. Ooh. Okay, it is crazy, but again, I mean, it's an on kill. It's not like an on hit kind of thing, right? I'm not missing anything here involving on hits. As most people, I think, would agree with me, it's not really fun to build around an item that doesn't like really can't really do boss, like can't really like live up to its full effectiveness with bosses. So max 15 spiders. Did I miss that? Okay, well, I mean, the uptime is, it's not like they're going to last forever, right? Base duration of 30 seconds, yeah. So I guess that's pretty damn long, and you could socket in increased duration. You could pretty easily run through an entire map and have an army of spiders giving you a nice thick little increased attack speed and 12%, or not 12%, but increased damage with poison buff. I don't know. Maybe you could do some fun stuff with like the minion wheel, you know, the cool one over here that gives you damage for your minions, and then attack speed over here as well for your minions that also applies to you. So I guess this kind of builds into the weird like leading an army archetype, but maybe leading an army of spiders. It looks fun. I just hate builds that like can't really self-sustain on bosses. Vol raised spiders. Shit, I must have missed that. I've never played with that skill. So I'm not missing anything, right, guys? This is not going to work on bosses. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a build or something. Yeah, like how would I do a Zaro with this? Like, am I supposed to just like what, fucking like worm blaster these kids? Like, is that the only way to do it? We'll just fucking run a bunch of worms. Whatever. Grithcool's pelt now grants 200 240. Oh my god, that is a lot of life and life regen. That is a thick chest. 5% regen on a chest. Holy crap. It no longer has the range on global physical damage and instead grants 100%. Existing versions of this item can be updated. Yeah. I'm familiar with this item. I know it like lets you not be able to use spells or something, right? Spell skills deal no damage. Your spells are disabled. Shit tons of fantastic stats for attack builds. Okay, so it no longer scales. Yeah, no range. Okay. I mean, this is just a straight buff. Cool. The thing about this, I mean, there's so many little quality of life things I guess some people might not think about when they want to play around it, I guess. Like, oh, I can't use Blood Rage anymore. I can't have, like, a cast when damage taken Cold Snap or something. I don't know. I like this, but I feel like I would rather use, like, an Elder Chest, you know, that just gives a shit ton of life and percent life. The regen's really fun. The 5% regen's really cool. Yeah, I definitely think it looks viable. I feel like I would miss out on things like Blood Rage and pretty much just any other like quality of life spell thing that I can't think of right now. I mean, how sad it is to not be able to use Blood Rage on a like with a build that gives you 5% free regen, you know? Feels bad, man. Yeah, I think you could use it with any skill. With any melee skill, you just would be missing out on some quality of life stuff. That's pretty much it. Nice, I have that too. It's really overpowered, actually. Needs nerfs. Okay, Tiebreaker. Oh, hell yeah. Tiebreaker's a fun weapon. Uh, Wait, did I skip one? I skipped Grukon's Flight. Now has a lot more evasion rating and grants 2 up from 1 life per 10 dex. Existing versions can be updated. Let's take a look at this item. I didn't realize this. I did not copy and paste the correct item. I don't know. This is a lot more evasion on these boots too, which is cool. Really hard for me to say how much dex you would get off this, but I mean, having like, what, 1,000 dex isn't out of the question. So I guess if you were going dex stacking, you could easily get like upwards of, 100 life off these boots. I shouldn't really be making pronouncements on these boots, though. They've been around for a while, so I'm sure people know whether or not they're good. Okay. Huh. I feel like, well, it says, the wording on it, I think it says it, like, disables spell skills as well. Like, there's 2 different kinds of, like, you cannot cast spells on it. So, yeah. Okay. Tiebreaker, yeah. We're getting into our Tiebreaker buffs. Just some flat extra added fizz damage. Wait. Oh, just a little, okay. Just that's nice. Okay. I love Tiebreaker. It's a really fun weapon to use with a Jug. I did it with like a max stun Slayer once, and it was pretty slow. It was kind of fun to stun things, and then I got bored within like a week, so would not recommend, but it's still fun. Martyr of Innocence's increased fire damage is no longer conditional. Now grants this much to this much, up from this much to this much. Added fire damage to spells. That's significant. It's a pretty big buff. Existing versions can be updated in new values with the Divine Form. Okay, let me see what this item actually is. I mean, obviously that's a nice little increase on damage, but... Oh, it's this thing. Cool. So it just buffed the spells, right? Yeah, added fire damage. It gives more damage to spells. Cool. Yeah, I've never played with this staff, and I think there's a lot of cool options for spellcasters when it comes to shaped staffs, so I think most of the time I'd rather go that, but this could be good. 52, so you can't really use it to level that much. It's a good buff, though. Yeah, how am I not even to Scorch yet? Jesus, how much longer do I have? Big oof. Okay, Rislothus Coil now grants 80 to 100 life, 30 to 40% up from 20% less minimum damage, and 30 to 40% up from 20% more maximum damage. Okay. Damn, how much faster would this be, guys, if I actually knew what these items all did? Oh, this is a meme, isn't it? I guess he gives life now. Nice. Void Forge Champion is a good bet. And guess what? Void Forge Champion was not nerfed at all. Everybody give me shit about goddamn champion template league starter. It's good no matter what. You can run like any weapon on a freaking champion. It's going to be good. Like just because you can't use your OP stat sticks doesn't mean champion is dead or like a bad league starter. People will really give me a lot of shit in the comments like, how dare you? Yeah. Champion is just crazy good. They would have had to nerf these crazy things right here for it to actually be a bad league starter. Okay, so Rislothus Coil still seems like a big meme to me. Don't think much has changed, but it has flat life, which means you can kind of wear it on a good conscience now. You're not just like slotting in something that's borderline useless. Dusk Dawn now grants 120 to 150 up from 120 increased spell damage. If you've dealt a critical strike recently, and a 10% chance to block. So is that like a... That's a shield I don't know about. Yeah, I usually... yeah, only 50% less, though. Does that work? If I just click here, does that open a new tab? Search Google. Do you mean like something like this? Oh, that opens a new tab. Yikes. Basic internet skills. Thanks, man. I'll try to remember to do that more so I don't trigger you guys so much. I'm sorry. That's like really, really obvious stuff that apparently I didn't know. Thank you. Yeah, that was upsetting. I don't want to go into it. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, so this is so this is a fusion between these two items earlier that I had never used before. Search for Google and search the item. Yeah, dude. Is this annoying, guys? Shade. Oh, so I'm going to do that for every single item now, guys. Kappa. I won't, I promise. Okay, so this is just buffs here to make up for the buffs to the items that build it. Shade of Solaris and Light of Lunaris. So yeah, nothing exciting there. The extra 10% chance to block, I guess, is kind of good. Leper's Alms now has a lot more evasion and energy shield. I feel like they're really just going crazy with the numerical values on like the basic defensive stats for some of these. What, slightly less mean value again? Again, just a little bit less mean value because you get a little bit more stats on it. Okay, Grailwood Shank now has increased physical damage. Increasing versions can be updated with a Divine Orb, of course. That's the one that gives like the extra projectiles, right? It's like really good for budget Molten Strike builds. Yeah, cool. It's a lot of evasion. Yeah, a lot of these values are really high, man. Bell Timber Blade. Oh, is this okay? This is just the other version of it, right? Wait, what's the difference between Bell Timber and the other one? Oh crap, I've been doing it again. Okay, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna go search in Google. Sorry guys, sorry. Oh, this one has the point blank. Oh yeah, this is the far shot, that's the point blank one. Okay. So they just have more increased damage. Our Barox now has 95 to 115 to 240 to 265, up from that much. Okay. So a little bit more added fizz, pretty significant. Wow, look at me go, guys. I'm learning. Oh, it's this bow. Okay. Oh, this is kind of a meme, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Didn't they tease these changes for this one? Yeah, you make this one out of these guys. Yeah, I know about this thing. I don't play a lot of bow builds, so... Well, I can't even make that excuse because I'm like, every other item here I just have never heard of before, which is hilarious. New versions of Ogor. Oh, yeah, you were talking about this meme right here. Let's get to it. Okay, this scepter here. Every 16 seconds. I hate these kind of rotating buffs. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the damage conversion, you could meme with it pretty effectively, but I don't know. I don't really think this is a huge difference in terms of who's playing this and who's not. I think if you were going to play it, you were going to play it anyway. If that makes sense. Volcanus no longer has added fire damage against bleeding enemies. This is like one of the weirdest uniques in the game. I remember when I was first getting into the game, I read this thing, and I was so confused. I didn't understand what half of these words meant. And now I understand what they mean, but I like still struggle to translate the usefulness of this item. Let's read the changes. No longer has added fire damage against bleeding enemies or added physical damage against ignited enemies. It no longer has a chance to inflict bleeding against ignited enemies. It now has 130 to 160 added fire damage, added, okay, and added physical damage. So, okay, I think I'm understanding here. They kind of moved those added damages over to being no longer conditional. Now grants increased fire damage versus bleeding. Okay, but they made the increased damage portion of it being relevant to the bleeding and fire. Now has a 50% chance to inflict bleeding. We'll get to the impulses. I haven't got there yet. I expect it to be big, but I guess not, according to what you're saying. Spoiler alerts, man. Come on. Okay. Wait, did I miss this? I missed this. Okay. Yeah, now has a 50% chance to inflict bleeding. Did it not have a chance to inflict bleeding before? God, this weapon was fucking hilariously weird and bad. Alright. Okay. Now grants 160 to 200. Wait. It's 160 to 200%. Increased chance to critically strike while you have Avatar of Fire, and 2,000 armor when you do not have Avatar of Fire. I'm not going to try to process all of these changes because I've never played the item before, but it seems like they've shifted around how the scaling works. Yeah, I'm really excited. A lot of undervalued uniques that I've personally never used before, I'm now going to look at. Even, what is it? It's, I'm not sure how to say your name. Asireduce? Asireduce? I don't know, but he's been pointing out there's like crazy numerical value buffs on just like the flat evasion and energy shield going on most of these items. So that alone is like makes me actually want to consider them over some of the other options. ACR? Okay. Could I just go by ACR? Cool. So yeah, they're definitely a lot of these items are more attractive, at least from just a pure like evasion and ES standpoint. Razor of the Seventh Sun now has 90 to 110, a little bit more there. Added physical damage. Hey you, yeah, for sure. It's a little bit easier. Existing versions can be updated to these new values with the Divine Orb. Okay, I just want to... Is this the thing you get from Phoenix? No, it's not, is it? It is from Phoenix. Oh, it's this thing. Okay. I don't know, but I mean, more added phys damage. It's just a buff. Nothing to see here, boys. Move along. Obscurantises. Oh, this thing. Gives more accuracy now. Good. Buff an item no one uses. Snake Pit, no longer... Oh, yeah. Okay, so this one's a little weird. I'm not going to go too far into it, but they kind of reworked Snake Pit because I think they didn't want you just firing extra projectiles left and right on the new ice skills. It gives you like new fork and chain things involving depending on which hand you wear it on. So it's good, but it's probably not as like catch-all good as it used to be. You kind of have to plan around it. So yeah, just kind of a rework here, I think, to make room for the design space they focused on. Why are you just got timed out for 5 seconds? What the fuck, dude? What is wrong with Nightbot? I assume you just tried to link me Dietis, so I'm gonna look up Dietis. I'm gonna look into that, man. I'm sorry. I've only streamed like 3 times, so I'm just using default Nightbot settings right now. Okay. Yeah, I understand. So it's just a numerical value to like that sort of build with those 2 weapons. Can you talk? Okay. Oh, Helm of 3 Dragons as well. That's the one that lets you like apply the different ailments, right? With different weapons or with different damage types. Okay, let's move on here. Snake Pit, or no, we did Snake Pit. Silver Tongue no longer causes arrows to pierce after... Okay, they talked about this one. The Son of Chris. Yikes. What can I say? I'm a bald-pated boy. What can I say? Silver Tongue no longer causes arrows to pierce all targets after chaining, or arrows to pierce to inflict bleeding. Now causes arrows to pierce all targets after forking. It now grants arrows that fork increased critical strike chance, and arrows that pierce 50% increased critical multi Critical strike multi. Okay, has a lot more added fizz. A little more added fizz. A lot more added fizz. Kinda. Not really. A lot more. Yeah, this was teased already. Again, I don't play a lot of bow builds, but from what I understand, this is definitely a buff. The weapon needed for being a guardian drop. Reach of the Council no longer grants 2 additional area arrows. It gives more physical damage. Increased physical damage. Sorry, got to be careful with that. And now this level 20 greater volley. I don't think it's been exactly explained what greater volley is, but it's probably just like instead of firing like, 3 projectiles with regular volley, it's like probably 5 projectiles. Yeah, I don't know. Well, we don't actually know what greater volley does. I'm going to guess it's a less damage multiplier, and then you get more arrows on the sides. So, I don't know. It depends on how bad the less damage multiplier is. I assume this is still not going to be used, unfortunately. The Void Gaze skill granted by Abra's Unification now reduces enemy chaos resistance. Oh, so this is Abra's Unification. I've only used Breath of the Council as far as items that come from this content. Okay, so let's see what Void Gaze does now. Void Gaze gets 10% chaos resistance duration. Trigger this when you use a spell. You cannot cast this. Okay, so that was minus 10%. Now it goes up to 20%. Has a base range of 39, up from 26. That is a nice buff. That is a very comfy distance in front of you. And now scales its effect to the range. It now lasts 10 seconds, up from 2.5 seconds. Fantastic. Has a cooldown of 2 seconds from 3 seconds. I mean, that's great. Affects all versions of the item. A little bit more ES there. Cool. This is awesome. I really like these changes here. I've never used this item before, but 20% is nothing to scoff at, especially because reducing chaos resistance is a very helpful way to help scale chaos damage. Not that we need more ways now at this point. Yeah, RIP Legacy, Reach of the Council. Void Fletcher now grants a Void Charge every half a second, and the cooldown on the Void Shot has been reduced from 500 to 250 ms. The Void Shot now travels and explodes 50% faster and 100% more area damage, up from 50%, and has added damage effectiveness of 120, up from 100. This affects all versions of the item. From what I understand... Oh, no. Why would I do that when I can use this advice that was given to me by my new friends? People liked the idea of this item, but the damage really wasn't there. So... hopefully the new changes to the increased whatever more multiplier here, whatever 100 up from 50 might be usable. But I mean, I guess that's true. Did they drop nerfs on the most? I haven't gotten to those yet, like Wind Ripper and stuff. Oh yeah, okay. I'm seeing Quill Rain and Wind Ripper now. Like, I probably shouldn't make pronouncements. Like I said, I really don't play a lot of ranged builds. But yeah, maybe I'm just underestimating the power of these buffs. Impulses. Oh no, dude. You have to keep in mind, my self-cast Arc Elementalist from Anki was one of my highest recommended builds, so please don't kill it. Queen of the Forest now grants 1% increased movement speed per 600, up from 400. Up to 75%, down from 100%. Rest in peace. I mean, whatever. I've never played the whole Queen of the Forest, Wind Ripper, Tornado Shot, Magic Find build. I do feel bad for people who live and die by this build because I know they exist. So, whatever. This nerf was probably necessary. This item was super good, as I think anybody will tell you who's played this game in the last year, 2 years. I don't know how long. For like a very long time, Queen of the Forest has been super strong, even after nerfs. Oh boy. Impulse's Broken Heart. Shocked enemies you kill to explode. Shocked enemies you kill explode, dealing 5% of the maximum life as maximum, which cannot shock. No longer has a range of 5 to 10%. Okay. So this item's still really fucking good. Yeah, Queen of the Forest has been insane for so long. Okay, so this is what they call a nerf, I think. Wow. Okay. Well, whatever. I guess I can say I'm a little bit happy because now this build doesn't look as bad to people who want to say my league starters weren't 10 out of 10 and I put them out too early. So I guess personally I'm glad, but this is still, they could have nerfed this item so much harder. Yeah, it's still great. I mean, how many times have I decided that I'm just going to settle for a bottom roll Impulsa, bought one, and still just felt my clear speed shoot through the roof? Like, at least as many times. I can like count how many times on my like one hand. It's actually like so insane. Even a bottom rolled Impulsa will be totally fine. Um, for things like arc and shit, which are already, you know, chaining, hitting multiple targets. Sintrek now has less energy shield. Was this the one? I think I've seen this one used before. Yeah, it's really not a big nerf. Yeah. A lot of ES on these boots, so they just nerfed the ES, I guess. Sedima's Touch now increases the quantity of items found from slain items by... Okay, just a Sedima's nerf. That's fine. I feel bad for all these, you know, dedicated magic finders, you know, that's like, they're not like completely killing their build, so they probably still want a magic find, but they're just making it that much, just a little bit less effective. Kind of just like a little slap on the wrist, like, come on, like, go all the way or don't. Feel bad for them. Yeah, hemophilias are dope, dude. I guess they didn't get touched here, so that's maybe a good or bad thing depending on what they would do. How did Impulses not get nerfed more? I'm so fucking flabbergasted, actually. Okay, Indigan now grants 20 to 25% down from 50 to 60. Big oof. Recently. Up to a maximum. Damn. Utterly destroyed. I don't know how... didn't they scale up to around like 5,000, 6,000 on like most... like Poet's Pens builds, like is how far you would push the Impulses. Dude, doctor cards, dude. What are you talking about? It's all about the nurse cards now, dude. Oh my. Quill Rain now causes you to deal 40% less damage as opposed to weapon damage. Okay, well, I'll make sure to update my Quill Rain a little bit. Probably not as dirt cheap as before, since you might want to use a decent bow that's not Quill Rain. Wind Ripper has way less increased crit strike chance, so less Herald of Ice explosions, technically. A little more added cold damage. So am I reading this correctly? It's just less crit, really. It's like simple amount of damage, or a similar amount of damage, but you're going to get less Herald of Ice explosions by a little bit. That's kind of all I'm reading about this. It's really not huge. It's not like they did anything to the quant, right? But I mean, the quant is based on killing frozen enemies, right? So, okay. Not like the craziest nerfs. That's fine. I mean, that Wind Ripper wasn't actually the biggest offender of that build. Chin Soul now deals 50% down from 100% more damage with arrowheads at close range and has a lot more increased physical damage. Big oof on that one. Damn. Well, Chin Soul was like one of the best, or probably it was like objectively the best single target option for like all bow skills, right? Like if you really just wanted to blow something up, just get in there with like Barrage or Scourger, just Chin Soul was just the best option. So okay. Gotta do what you gotta do. Divination Display no longer provides additional maximum resistances during Flask effect, and instead provides 50% to all elemental resistances. Oh boy. So this was like the cornerstone of the Xerxes Pathfinder, right? Or was it Immune Pathfinder? Whatever. It's interchangeable to me. I get confused because I don't have money to play builds like that. But This was like a cornerstone, right, to making a Pathfinder immune or really, really, really tanky. So yeah, that's a big nerf. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I'm reading into that. Spine of the First Claimant. I don't actually know what this item is. Let's check this out here. Yeah, maybe. I mean, why not? Let's see. Increased hits. Okay. So they buffed it over here. Oh, it gives a new cold damage over time multiplier. You said the rest of them were nerfs. That's not a nerf. Oh, fire can't go to cold. Yeah, you're right, actually. If you go to the LE conversion PoE, they have like a little thing here that shows that you can only go a certain order. Yeah, I can only go fizz, lightning, cold, fire, chaos. My bad. You can never go backwards. That's a good rule of thumb. I've just played so many like cold to fire builds. It kind of it's messed me a little bit because I'm getting a little tired and hungry. So I didn't notice that. But yeah, you can't go backwards on this little dealio. I don't even know what items exist that do that, but I guess theoretically, or you could just play just fire. That's a novel thought. Especially with Scorch, which I still haven't seen anything on Scorch yet, even though I know that exists. Okay, so this is just a new chaos cold damage over time multiplier. Cane of Unraveling now grants non-ailment chaos and 30% increased chaos damage down from 8%. Existing versions will be updated. Oh, well, there we go. That answers your question. Yeah, you never asked, but I mean, I still felt compelled to come up with an answer that I didn't have. So this item now has a more damage multiplier on it now. Tight. I keep on calling them more damage multipliers. Hopefully I'm not completely screwing people over with that. Okay, this garbage. Now grants cold. Okay, this gives you some little cold damage over time. Yeah, I don't know. I think they had to pick a direction for it to go because if it could go backwards, I imagine that could cause some like real tricky like problems in the room of people who code the game. Molten Strike is like almost completely not nerfed at all. It's actually insane how untouched it is for how strong it is. Most people will never buy the Helm enchant anyway, and they increase the physical damage on it. So, oh, LOL. As I just say this, okay, Wildfire is now limited to 1. There we go. Raffle, I'm funny. I apologize for that. Yes, it is slightly nerfed now, but I still think it's very playable. You're just not going to get an absurd amount of projectiles. So I think, yeah. I think it should still feel the same, more or less, but having less projectiles will definitely be a little bit less fun. And then obviously it won't scale as hard. I still think it's a fantastic lead starter. If you really want to play Molten Strike Jug, this should not stop you at all. At the end of the day, you're still playing Jug. I mean, that's the real exciting thing about playing Molten Strike Jug is you can just ignore so many mechanics because of how tanky you are. Flesh and Spirit no longer grants 5 souls, 5 Vol souls on Rampage, and causes kills to grant additional Vol soul if you've rampaged recently instead. This affects all version of the item. This is the jewel, right? What? Oh. Oh no. Oh, it's these gloves. Yeah, you're going to be fine on Molten Strike Jug. It's just kind of impacting its like late game insanity, not so much its like ease of use and comfort to level with. I'm still probably going to level most of my melee characters with Molten Strike for a very good amount of time in the early game, at least through like Acts 1 and 2. So yeah, I'm guessing this is just a little quality of life thing here. Is it a nerf? I don't even know. No longer grants 5 souls for Vol skills on Rampage and causes skills to grant. Seems like a nice buff. I've never used the item before. I think I'm just reading it as like a nice little quality of life buff, right? Isn't actually a good buff. Okay, that's good. Good. Wildfire nerfs. We just talked about that. Xerafe's Last Breath now grants a buff when you use a skill. Oh boy, buff recovers 450 to 600% of the skill's mana cost life per second. This buff and healing is removed when you're... Oh my god. Absolutely destroyed. Okay, yeah, so that's a really nice quality of life change for clearing. It's just objectively a lot better. This affects all versions of the item. Oh, rest in peace, Xerafes. Rest in peace, Legacy Xerafes. This is like just big destroying the item, actually. No more face tanking or anything. Blah. I just haven't eaten in many hours, so I'm just like losing my mind a little bit over here. Buff. Buff, buff, buff. Blood of Corruption's Gluttony of Elements skill now prevents those affected from the aura from gaining Vol skills. This affects all versions of the item. This may seem small, but I'm pretty sure I watched a video at one point of Empyrean Gaming talking about how he uses this item in party play to basically make everybody unkillable. So I'm guessing that's to target that specifically. Yeah, I really... Oh, UI MTX? I thought you meant like a UI to preview microtransactions, because that's what I really want. Yeah, I don't know if I would buy UI MTX, because I think the UI is very functional as it is. Rigwald Quills now displays a 10% chance to summon wolves on kill rather than 5% that was totally a lie, because it was actually 10%. This is purely cosmetic change. Thanks, Bex. Okay, it's this item. Yeah, so apparently it was always 10%. Weird. Clarify the description on Scold's Bridal Key mod to clarify it does not apply when spending mana on a reservation, only for costs. Okay. Just a little bit of clarification. Monster changes. The Rogue Exile Ultima Thule now uses the updated version of Ice Spear. Updated the Cannibal's torch throwing behavior. It now looks cooler. Thank goodness. I think there was some guy who did like a Uber Elder kill with the Cannibal Torch Specters. Apparently they do a lot of single target damage. Blood Chieftains now hurl blood apes at you. Wait, that was a... Oh, that's so funny. That was in the Markov chain. But I guess it's a real patch note. That's funny. Bex just hits us with the memes every time. I always appreciate it. Fury Hounds now use an updated version of Burning Ground. The updated version of Burning Ground. Nice. Okay. Temple of Atsuatl changes. The level of the present-day temple is now the average level of each incursion plus 10, capped at the highest level incursion for that temple. Damn. Okay, so does that mean it's going to be easier to get high-level temples, I'm guessing? Cool. That's what I'm reading into. Yeah, basically that's... Well, it's also... You can do the MTX with the aura changes, which is really nice for like blasphemy and stuff. So if you like had some like hatred effect, you could use it on something like the Frostbite blasphemy aura. So I mean, it's just a nice quality of life change. So yeah, there's just a little buff here to getting higher level temples. Player depth notifications are now only announced every 50 depth levels. Nice. I know a lot of people don't like seeing those updates all the time, especially at the beginning of the league. That's going to be hell, or would have been hell. Slightly reduced damage dealt by the darkness based on player life and energy shield, and added a small amount of flat damage per darkness stack. So that's like, what is that doing? That's like killing builds that can just infinitely farm darkness, right? I never understood how those works, but I know people... like wins were just, you know, running these weird builds that had I don't think you can send links right now. What do you want me to look up? I'll look into that for the next stream, I promise. I'll be streaming the league start. Yeah, so I know Winds was doing some nonsense that let you have like a really tiny ES in life pool, and it lets you farm the darkness like infinitely. So I'm guessing that has something to do with that. I could be wrong. Oh, he went all in on. Oh, Spectral MTXs. I thought this. I thought ACR was just trying to link me some MTXs for Spectres, or something like that. I was confused. Pulsating grotto encounter now lasts longer before the boss appears. Monsters from this encounter award significantly more experience when slain. Obviously, I did this encounter many times. I don't remember it because I don't know the names of these encounters. But it says more experience, so that's good. It didn't like your all caps laugh. Okay, I'm going to have to deal with that. This is way too strict. My little Nightbot shutting you down from having fun. I'll make sure it's all fixed up for the next stream. Reduce the number of Ursae that plummet from the plummeting Ursae encounter. Oh, that one's funny. Those can like fuck you up. That's like the one, yeah, where it's just like have the little wombats falling from the air, right? I've seen that. Spectral encounters or special encounters now drop more rare items and a wider variety of items. Well, nice. There's a lot of trash that ends up on the ground. Fossils and resonators are now found more frequently behind fractured walls and less frequently in the more accessible areas. So if you want fossils, bring dynamite. Okay, again, that's kind of nerfing people just sort of AFK, or not AFK, but just like run around, like picking up fossils while being immune. So just further forcing people to actually do those mechanics. Voltaxic sulfide acquisition values have been adjusted to account for the new rate at which you encounter voltaxic sulfide veins. I'm guessing that just means a shit ton more voltaxic sulfite, which everybody wants. Your bestiary book is now account-wide. If you catch a beast in one league, it'll be recording your bestiary in all other leagues in perpetuity. The itemized beasts themselves are still league-specific. Okay, cool. So that just lets you have the information on the beast recorded. And I think you can see recipes and stuff with that, right? So that's nice. There is now a global capture limit of 1,000 beasts rather than a per genus limit. The previous total maximum was approximately 680, though most players were likely to hit the genus-specific limits. I don't think this happened to me specifically, but I remember watching streamers that ran into this. It was not uncommon to accidentally fill up, like, because you were catching too much of whatever the Krayokic guys, you know what I'm talking about? The ones that were really important for the duping recipe. I remember people filled up on those. Beast crafting recipes have been completely reworked and simplified. Non-spirit beasts, unique beasts can't appear in the menagerie or bestiary. Wait, non-spirit beasts, unique beasts? Oh, okay, so if you run into a unique beast, it's always going to be a spirit beast, right? $20 white rose? No, sounds like hell. What? It's funny you said MOAs. I thought of Warframe immediately, and I was very confused. Adjusted the weightings of mini prophecies. You can now complete the steps of mini prophecy chains in various maps. Prophecies which can trigger in maps no longer lock their triggers to specific maps out of their possible pool. In other words, you can attempt to open a map where a prophecy might trigger and it doesn't. It may trigger next time you open it. Previously, it did not trigger in that map. It never would. I think this had to do with like how you could open a map or whatever, and like the way you would have prophecies set up is they wouldn't trigger properly. I don't want to read too much in the specifics here because I'm kind of falling asleep and I don't want to give you guys a bad, incorrect pronouncement. But this is definitely a good thing for people who use prophecies regularly or try to farm currency off prophecies or try to just do prophecies in a more efficient way. Prophecies that previously forced the appearance of one of the old masters now force the appearance of one of the new ones instead. Makes sense? Oh shit, we're almost to the fun part. PvP. Kappa. Map changes. Atlas of Worlds have been reshuffled. Many map bosses have also shifted around. Some have been retired and replaced. Hey, thanks for hanging out, ACR. Really appreciate you keeping the chat alive. Go enjoy Warframe for me. I have not played that game as much as I want to. Bosses have been shifted around. I think that's kind of cool. I mean, if you're so used to a certain way, obviously, just getting a little bit of a mix-up is going to be exciting. As part of this Atlas reshuffle, many maps have been reviewed with the goal of bringing their layouts or monster densities up to par with other maps. That's huge. People have so many things in their mind about like what a good dense map is, like Underground Sea or like Waste Pool, and this just puts a hammer in that. So people are going to have to rethink what their best Atlas strategies are based on the new layouts. So if you see anybody who gives you a guide on like Atlas strategies before we actually get like a little deeper into 3.5, don't pay heed to it because it looks like they completely changed densities. That's actually really huge. Okay. Completing a map as part of a Zana mission now counts towards your Atlas map. Oh, dude, this is so cool. People have been asking for this forever. Completing a map as part of a Zana mission now counts towards your Atlas map completion and any associated challenges or achievements. Oh, man. Yeah, the new Warframe zone is really cool, but I haven't spent a lot of time, and I just ran around and shot some things, didn't know what I was doing, and logged off. That's so nice. You like so many times, I'll get like a really cool unique map or something for Zana, and I kind of want to do it, but I know it's not going to be really beneficial in terms of what it's going to drop, and then it's not going to give me Atlas completion, so there's no reason to. And then obviously it's even better that you can just get regular maps completed. And Atlas completion is just so fast now. I feel like if I no life this, I could have like a 100% complete Atlas in like a week. For sure. Springs map has been replaced with Fungal Hollow map. Existing Springs maps will now open portals to Fungal Hollow. Same thing for Acid Lakes by the Acid Caverns. Oh, Acid Lakes, wasn't that the hellish one with those bosses that like would one-shot you? Cool. Hopefully it's a new boss then. The Tribunal map is replaced with the Crater map. Existing Tribunal maps will now open. Yeah. Okay, I don't know about Crater. Gorge map has been replaced with Glacier. I would say rest in peace Gorge, but from what I understand, Glacier is just like a retextured Gorge, more ice-themed, so that's good. Torture Chamber has been replaced by Primordial Blocks. I think most people felt like Torture Chamber really was... This is funny. Torture Chamber maps will now open in Portal Lunaris Temple. Kidding. Got me. Yeah, nobody really liked doing Torture Chamber. Sextants that previously forced the appearance of one of the old masters now force the appearance of the new one. Of course, makes sense. Increased the average number of monsters spawned inside the Abyssal Depths area. Awesome. Those did feel a little bit barren. I was just kind of rushing to the end to get to the boss so you could kill it and maybe get a drop, fingers crossed. The Atlas icons, which indicate that a certain map contains a memory fragment, will now correctly state whether it is the boss, an Elder Garden, or the Elder itself that holds it. Okay. I mean, I think you knew this already, right? Like if you kind of just understood how memory fragments worked, but I guess it's just a helpful little tip for people who are not familiar with it. Vision of Justice and the Goddess Projectile Barrage skills have been changed in such a way so that instead of multiplying the number of projectiles the skills fire, additional projectiles add to the total number of projectiles fire. I think this is the map. Oh, I can't remember what it is. It's like a tier 15 or something, but it has like the Goddess from from the Labyrinth that's like on top of Azaro, and she had some crazy attacks. So I'm guessing you could get one shot pretty easily if it was like added projectiles or additional projectile map mods. So I think it's just a nerf. That boss was actually pretty hard, I think, as far as tier 15 maps go. Okay, map mods for Zana. Getting to the end, guys. Let's go. One last hurrah. Anarchy costs 2 gems, or 2 Chaos Orbs, gives you 3 additional Rogue Exiles. Okay. Torment 2, 4 additional Tormented Spirits. I mean, I hate Torment, but 4 additional Tormented Spirits for 2 Chaos is a much better deal than it has been in the past. Fortune Favors the Brave, which is one of my favorite ones. 3 Chaos, always a fun option. Alternate of same tier, requires a rare map. This is a nice one here, of course, for Atlas completion. If you guys played Delve, you'll know. Ooh, Domination. Dope. I love Domination. Domination, you can't get anything that helps you with Quant, right? This is just going to be kind of like a fun little thing. Yeah, I don't think you would pay 3 Chaos for this, right? Yeah, I don't think this is worth paying for, but it might be kind of fun if you hit it for a Fortune Favors the Brave, I guess. Could be rippy, though, if you like get a pretty scary shrine with some scary mobs. Parandus, cool. Bringing back the Parandus map mod. Shapes one, that's nice. Breaches. Oh, areas contain 2 additional breaches. Unfortunately, breaches are nerfed, but for 4 Chaos Orbs, 2 breaches, that doesn't seem that bad. I feel like that's kind of hard to not pay for itself, right? Harbinger for 4 Chaos, nice. I think they've been 3 Harbingers in the past, right? So this is a little bit less, but I mean for only 4 Chaos. Oof. Wow, I'm like really excited to use Fortune Favors the Brave. There's a lot of good ones. Shaped Tier, cool. Abyss, 2 Abysses for 5 Chaos Orbs. Wow, they're like, you really do not have to pay that much for some fantastic mods here. Of course, we got the Elder right here. I wonder how fast it'll take to level up. Or how does that work with Zana? Oh, wait. Are no unlocked as you progress through the Alice quest chain. Okay, you just have to do the Alice quest chain now. So I'm guessing you finish the quest chain and then you can potentially roll the Elder mod, which will be something that'll happen for me because I'm going to do Fortune Favors the Brave a lot because I love most of these mods. Domination is kind of meh, I think, but everything else is cool. Strongboss. The Stream of Monsters Strongboss mod now spawns monsters much more quickly. It can spawn magic and rare monsters. This mod can only appear in levels 35 or higher. Oh, thank God. For you guys who don't know, the Stream of Monsters Strongbox mod is literally everybody's least favorite mod because you're just like going, you're mapping, and then you run into it and you're suddenly sitting there like 1 second intervals waiting to kill like white monsters. Not fun. Okay, interface improvement. Remove the leave guild button. The league key default V now shows either the Bestiary Incursion Temple or Delve Azrai Mine or the Betrayal Investigation Board. Okay, that's nice. That's cool. That way you press V and it brings up whatever's most relevant to you because there's always going to be different league mechanics now going on. Yeah, I still think it's going to be super good. I don't think it's going to have quite the same like upper scaling. Like I don't think it's going to be like a 10 out of 10 boss killer anymore, but as a league starter, as for leveling, as a mapper, I totally think it's still viable. And then also the big part of that build that I mentioned earlier is that you still play it as a Juggernaut in the build I suggested, and I think that's a really big part of it is you're super tanky, so you can kind of sit there and avoid mechanics by just face tanking them, which means more DPS because you're not running around. So all in all, yeah, I mean, it's nerfed, but it's still like, let's see, what do I have it at here? Molten Strike. I have it at like a 5 for bossing. I'm probably going to turn it into a 4 for bossing. That's it. That's pretty much what I'm going to do there. Still great. Thanks for asking. Yeah, the stash tab drop down menu. Oh yeah, they showed this off here. This is nice for people who have a lot of different stash tabs. This will help a lot for people navigating their tabs in standard. Added a minimap zoom slider in the settings. Can't you just minus and plus? Oh, I guess maybe that's going to be the default. That would be nice because I always play with my minimap. Oh, it's my minimap, not my map. Okay, well, we'll see. It seems like it could be a nice little quality of life change. You can now buy entire stacks of currency from vendors with shift click. Thank God. Wow. That is a real nice feature for a lot of people. And bots. Really helps out bots. No, I'm kidding. I think it's not. They could click infinitely anyway. This helps people who are using physically clicking over and over again to buy currency. This is going to really take the stress off that. Maybe your hands and wrists won't break earlier. Avoid some early onset RSI. Okay, map rewards have been updated. Okay, that's useless. Wow. Who cares? I'm just not going to read these PvP changes because I don't care. We're going to skip bug fixes. Where is Poet's Pen? Really? Okay, so I think that's it, guys. This feels like a very small patch notes. Like very much a... Here, let's go to news. Like I feel like we're missing something, right, guys? Doesn't this seem like kind of small? I guess that was it. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm hungry. Okay, guys. Well, I think show's pretty much over at this point. I'm going to eat some dinner. I'm sorry, I'm starving. I was going to update this right here on the stream, but I really need to eat now. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to update all the builds. But if anybody's watching and you just want sort of a overview of what's changed, literally almost nothing. Some of the strongest builds here, GC Miner, Blade Vortex, and Molten Strike Jug got some small damage nerfs, but are still going to remain top tier skills. Yeah. I think we're good. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. Especially Gamscar, Xda, and then where's my other bar? ACR and 94 Rav. You guys were fantastic. Thanks for hanging out and making this a fun stream for everybody. I'll make some posts in the community tab of this channel to let everyone else know, but I will be streaming the start of Incursion live, and it's going to be a little longer. So thank you guys so much, and have a good night.